We are live on Pop Culture Breakdown. Greetings, everyone. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and I am joined tonight by a panel of pop culture pundits, some of whom have not arrived yet, but nevertheless, we will soldier on. This was not unexpected. And we've got actually kind of more to talk about than I had anticipated tonight. We have got, we can talk about Shogun, outperforming all the other woke wanker shows at the Emmys. We're going to talk about, Agatha all along being the gayest MCU show ever, which is just, I could just feel my sphincter puckering in anticipation. I'm so thrilled. I can't even. We're gonna talk about that. We got a big show. We're gonna talk about Pixar and Disney backing away from the gay. This was actually in a number of articles out there just a day or so ago, where on Inside Out 2, they were the production team was increasingly told, hey, let's tone down the gayness here. Let's take the gayness out. Let's relight this thing to make it less gay. And as a result, well, it was a smash hit. Go figure. Of course, we could have told them all along. And we are joined also by Douglas Nelson, a.k.a. Mr. Nelson, who is like our crash test smarty, who he willingly slams himself into the wall repeatedly to watch things that no one else will ever watch. Like Lord of the Rings. So we'll probably ask him what's going on in Lord of the Rings land. And our movie tonight is Total Recall. But before we get to all that, let's go ahead and introduce our panelists. We'll just go around the circle. And we'll start with Gary Ambrosia, who's got some kind of red Martian lighting in his cell. Hopefully that wasn't my doing. I'll go ahead and change it.
No. It's fine. It was just kind of for, ambiance for our film tonight. I have a really great view of the face on Mars out there. And I think SpaceX is over there. Hey, look, there's Elon. Yo, hey. Hi, guys.
Yeah. You're not supposed to reveal any of the, truth behind the alien structures on Mars, the truth behind the giant face. Oops. Shit, I think I just revealed it.
Oh, well. Way to go.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move along here. Let's go to Rob Wright, who basically has the biggest mic tonight. Size matters, ladies, and Rob Wright, he's got it. Yeah. And it's like the Rainbow Connection. It's like a LGBTQ lighting.
Nice
like
pride
a
mic.
Roller disco on his mic. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
It's going all right. It's kind of a mixed bag of good news and bad news this week. I mean, we got Transformers 40th anniversary that those of us geeks that love Transformers are celebrating. But we have bad news I found out in the chat tonight that wonderful singer-songwriter J.D. Souther passed away. So, it's one of those pop culture mixed bags where you've got some joys and you've got some sorrows.
Yep. When you're only lonely, you also pointed out Her Town too.
With James Taylor. And then he wrote a couple of Eagles songs that are outstanding. So he gave up Heartache Tonight, and I think another one that he were prominent that he wrote for the Eagles. And of course, he was in a band with Glenn Frey when they first went to California. So, he will be missed. He was great.
So. That's a great tragedy, man. And J.D. Souther, thank you for all the music. Great voice too. May you rest in peace, brother. And thanks for calling that to our attention, Rob. And we also are blessed with Doug Nelson, aka Mr. Nelson. Doug, have you seen the Tom Bombadil episode of Rings of Power? And how is old Tom?
Well, he's hanging out. He's kind of chill, taking it easy. It could have gone another way, but it didn't. Him and Gandalf, alone together. Fire. But don't worry, not yet. Not yet.
Yes. Well, when it comes to Rings of Power and Gandalf and Tom Bombadil, it's more like Strangers in the Blight.
Yes.
Because Rings of Power is a fucking blight. Well, we're glad you're here, Doug, and thank you for the thumbnail this week as well, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
And we have back from the harsh embrace of COVID, Mike is here. He has survived. He has kicked its ass. He is stronger and better in a Nietzschean way. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Very well. Glad to be here. Sorry, missed last week. I was planning on it and was in the middle of 5 days of as we like to say down here in South Carolina, the COVID, because that's what we call it, the COVID.
That's right.
The COVID did certainly strike Mexican Iron Man, but the COVID cannot keep a good Mexican down in South Carolina. Hail the chat, hail the mods, hail you, my overlord, and this great fine panel from South Carolina.
It is great to see you, Mike. Thank you for being here, buddy. And we are going to be joined later by Andy Masterson and by JRC99US, ladies and gentlemen, rejoining the show after a long absence. And tonight we have special guest Osaka Chandal. Hey, Osaka Chandal, how are you tonight?
Hello, thank you for having me again. I'm so happy to be here.
Very happy to have you. And look, without respect, we reject t-shirt. Wow.
Absolutely.
Love it.
What a great phrase. I wonder who came up with, oh, it was me actually. But thank you, Osaka Chandal. I appreciate you wearing my catchphrase. It looks good on you and you wear it well.
Thank you. Yes, without respect, we reject.
Damn right. That is something that Hollywood is apparently learning, folks, slowly, but they are learning it. Let's go ahead and get to the breakdown, and then I want to get to a feel-good story that I did a video about just a little while ago. So apparently, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Disney is maybe like at this point kind of tired of losing, tired of learning their lessons. This was an article published by IGN talking about Inside Out 2 was the hit Pixar needed, but the laid-off employees who crunched on it are still hurting. It was an incredible, lengthy article with a lot of detail about the development hell that Pixar went through on Inside Out 2. And I wanted to go over this because it demonstrates what I've been saying for a long time. We are winning the war on woke, ladies and gentlemen. We are winning the war on woke. And if you doubt it, just listen to this. Get a load of this, folks. Now, it all started with Lightyear. Well, it didn't all start with Lightyear, but over at Pixar, as far as they were concerned, that was the kind of shock to the system when Lightyear was a huge disappointment. Just grossed like $226 million worldwide. It was not good, and they were upset. Pixar, basically, because of their profit-sharing deal with Disney, a movie's got to cross $600 million before Pixar sees a dime. Disney takes it all, that greedy rat. And so really it has to be like hit $1 billion on a Pixar movie for them to feel good about it. And as a result of Lightyear like going down and Elemental also being disappointing, they were feeling the heat, folks. They were feeling the heat. According to this article, some believed that Pixar would actually fall apart if Inside Out 2 wasn't a runaway success. It was seen by employees as a life or death situation for the studio. And that means, what does that mean? That means we're having an effect, people. We are absolutely getting through to them. They may claim that they're above the fray, that they don't care about, mere coin, filthy lucre, that they're, post-profit. They're a post-profit company. But sources said that after Lightyear's financial failure, Pixar lost the desire to take risks. And, gayness in movies these days over at Pixar and Disney is, oddly enough, considered a risk. In fact, multiple sources said in this article that Disney leadership internally put a large part of the blame for Lightyear's financial failure on a same-sex kiss in the film, which was, in Lightyear, briefly removed, and then they pitched a hissy fit, and the internal staff went, "What are you doing?" And so then they went ahead and put it back in to disastrous effect. And this quote was in the thing. It is, as far as I know, still a thing where leadership, they'll bring up Lightyear specifically and say, oh, Lightyear was a financial failure because it had a queer kiss in it. And so what happened? What happened with this audience pressure? What happened, the sound of empty theaters and empty cash registers? Well, it started them freaking the fuck out. And this is a quote from the article. The apparent hesitance to touch on LGBTQ themes, storylines in particular, affected Inside Out 2's development. Because this was not just an easy thing to do. Get this, folks, this is how far they went to remove the gayness here. Multiple people recall hearing about continuous notes to make Riley, the main character of both Inside Out movies, come across as less gay, leading to numerous edits that ramped up around September 2023. After the resolution of the WGA strike, sources described rumors that there was special care put into making the relationship between Riley and Val, a supporting character introduced in Inside Out 2, seem as platonic as possible, even requiring edits to the lighting and tone of certain scenes, even the lighting, to remove any trace of romantic chemistry. One source describes it as just doing a lot of extra work to make sure that no one would potentially see them as not straight. So, what say you on the panel, folks? It seems to me, let's start with Mexican Iron Man, since he's returning from a long sojourn. It seems like Hollywood, by hook or by crook, is getting the message. I'm hearing more and more stuff like this, that they're kind of saying, yeah, we love the woke, but let's skip it this time.
Well, it's funny.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I mean, when that movie came out, I actually asked Max, he was 10 at the time when it came out, before he turned 11, if he wanted to see it. And he was looking at his iPad and he was making a roller coaster. He looked up at me and he says, "Dad, everybody at school knows he said, everybody at school knows that movie's woke." And he looked right back down and kept going on his iPad with his roller coaster. And I was thinking to myself, this is a 10-year-old, bro. Like, this is a 10-year-old. And if like those are the conversations that kids are having. It just blows my mind that these morons that work for Disney can't see the obvious that's right in front of them. They just can't see it. Now, I think there's a bunch of problems wrong with this Buzz Lightyear movie. From the beginning, from its inception, they weren't going to have Tim Allen. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. There were definitely a lot of problems.
And then they had Chris. Which Chris was it? Not Hemsworth, but the other one.
Chris Evans?
Yeah. And how he was like basically like attacking fans, typical Hollywood actor, stuff.
Yeah.
This movie had a lot of problems from the beginning, the typical problems, but the wokeness was definitely one of them. And the thing is that I think what struck them so hard, maybe why it resounded a bit, were a couple of things. But I think what really got to them is that should be a guaranteed moneymaker, right? Because when you think of Pixar, you think of that brand, you think of that franchise, right? And so, while many people would argue that the first three movies are the only real movies that matter, from inside that company, they're going to think that anytime they put a sticker on it and put it on theaters, that's going to bank that 600, 700, 800 million, and it should. There's no reason that it shouldn't, but it didn't. So I say, bravo, if they're catching the hand. The thing is with Disney, though, is we've got to understand that the real problem is at that corporate office. That's where most of the woke is, because those are the ones dealing with the Black Rocks and the DEI and all that stuff. You know, the board is the problem, the execs are the problem, but then you have all these business units that are almost run independently. They're almost run like tribal city states. Like Lucasfilm has its own woke thermometer. Marvel has its own woke thermometer. Pixar has its own woke thermometer. And while they're all underneath the Disney umbrella, which has its own woke, like super barometer thermometer, each business unit is at different stages of realization. And I think that whatever Pixar started to realize, and whatever Lucasfilm might have gotten the water thrown on their on their face with the Acolyte, we're about to have that with Agatha, which we're going to talk about later in the show, I know. But yeah, I read that article twice, and it was long. I encourage your channel subscribers to check it out. And I mean, look, this echoes your coverage from day one. And we've lost many a battle. We lost Star Trek. We've lost many a battle in this culture war. But overall, we will win the war. But there's a lot of franchises that die. I would love to see if they can do a course correct on this franchise, because it was always a lot of fun.
No, it was. But I mean, the thing about that article is that it explicitly says, folks, it explicitly says here that it is, as far as I know, still a thing where leadership in the companies, they'll bring up Lightyear specifically and say, oh, Lightyear was a financial failure because it had a queer kiss in it. So that is the narrative that they're telling themselves. Now, Mexican Iron Man is quite correct that there was a lot of different aspects of this. But Gary Ambrosia, doesn't that seem to suggest that we are having an impact, that they are actually listening even though they pretend they're not listening? And when it comes right down to it, they're kind of embracing, at least some of them at the top level, that woke is broke.
It's a pretty black and white message when you have an IP that was as popular and as with such a solid foundation as Toy Story go completely broke over one incident. And then they were smart. They course correct on a brand new franchise. And now it is the highest grossing animated film of all time.
100%, man. I mean,
all time. It's like 1.64 billion or something. Like and it beat out an old tried and true franchise that's been, making money for Disney for decades.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
what does that tell you? Like, if that's not clear enough for you guys, I don't know what is,
Absolutely. I mean, this is the summer of not woke, because there was another huge hit called Deadpool and something or other. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
That
movie.
Fucking kicked ass too. And it was not woke. I saw it. It was not woke. It was just kick fucking ass. It's almost like this summer is like a time travel situation where things are getting better. Doug, any comment on this?
Well, this was ultimately inevitable about what happened. We knew all along that the wages of woke was broke, and it took them way too long to figure that out. But it eventually happens. I mean, by the time you get to the Lightyear movie, that's when the normies began to understand what woke was. The nerds like us knew it all along. I mean, I've known of the term. It's over 10 years ago now when it was infesting the comic books and all that. It was kind of like a testing ground, I guess, for it. And they would literally have characters say, hey, you need to get woke. And that kind of like, what? And that kind of thing. And that's when you begin to see it and how it permeates everything. But for the overall movie going audience and stuff, franchises and brands like that still had a lot of power to them. And so it worked for a while, but then you begin to realize what it is. And once you figure that out and you get the slightest whiff of it. And since then, we've seen some films take like Frozen Empire and the likes of unfairly, in my opinion, being, smeared as woke and whatnot. But that's what happens when you create that landscape like that. That's happened since then. And so the overall audience is like, yeah, I don't like that. So if I get an indication that this movie is going to be there, it destroys it. It's very damning. And so this is what rolls out. And they started scrambling and figuring that out. Oh my God. Oh, and so now they're taking this out and that out and trying to, prop it. And for Inside Out, it worked, and that sort of thing. So that's where they put themselves. And so the overall ramifications of it is, again, other things will be unfairly seen that way, but that's the bed you made. Warned you about this from, shows like this. Listen until it was really too late for quite a few, and unfortunately beloved franchises and what have you. But like I said, it was inevitable. And yes, the wages of woke are indeed broke.
Yes, Harvey is wise in this, and yet they're about to take 2 steps backwards with Agatha all along. But that goes to what Mexican Iron Man was talking about, is that there's all these fiefdoms with various levels of wokeness in them. Right. Rob, anything to comment? And then we're going to go hear what Osaka Chandal has to say about this. Go ahead, Rob.
Absolutely. The other aspect of it is get back to telling the story. That's what we're here for. That's what everybody's here to see, is a good story. And Disney took all that stuff out so they could tell and support the story of this. So that's why it's successful, because people like the story, they enjoy to it, and more people can relate to it. The other aspect about this is that it's a movie for kids, and you don't necessarily need the sexual type stuff in a kids movie, folks. And one other thing is, we all have imaginations. The character can be gay, straight, whatever we imagine it. We're the audience. It doesn't have to show on the screen all the time, So kudos to Disney for doing that. They're getting back on the right track. Love Pixar. There's so many great Pixar movies, like, the Toy Story movies, Up, The Incredibles, so many great ones.
But they have fallen from grace. They have absolutely fallen from grace. So Saka Chandal, is there any, does it register on the radar in Japan about Inside Out or Inside Out 2? And how do they feel over there about this kind of issue?
Inside Out 2 has came out. Yeah, I think it's about to come out. I think the 25th or something here. Same thing with Beetlejuice. It hasn't officially come out here yet, but it's about to. But from what I hear, a lot of people are interested in Beetlejuice. Mostly parents with the little kids are interested in Inside Out. They weren't crazy about the Buzz Lightyear. And the thing is if you grew up with Toy Story as a kid, you know that Andy, his favorite was Buzz Lightyear besides Woody. And so you have to think what made him love Buzz Lightyear? Because it's the kind of show his mom will let him watch. The movie Buzz Lightyear, his mom would not have let him watch that. If that, because it's not targeted to kids. They're kids. They're not supposed to be thinking about, sexuality or sexual preference. And no, a kid's a kid. They're thinking about going on adventures and playing and seeing themselves as the hero, not the message that keeps trying to be pushed on today's kids.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we should really delve into, what gives a wooden puppet wood. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not really the way it should go. Maybe call me old-fashioned, call me, dreamer, call me irresponsible, but yeah, that's just how I feel about it. So they took one giant step forward, and now they're about to take a giant step backwards, or maybe even 2 or 3 giant steps backwards, with Agatha Was Woke All Along. That's the real title of it. It's called Agatha All Along, but I think it's Agatha Was Woke All Along, or Agatha's The Acolyte, really, Part 2 all along, or I don't know. But on Fox News, they had an article called, it sums it up pretty nicely. Agatha All Along stars Cher, new show as gayest Marvel project yet, ahead of Disney Plus premiere. And let me just give you a little breakdown, because these actors, are basically shooting off their fucking mouths again about how fucking gay Agatha All Along is. It's why get Disney Plus? If that's the kind of entertainment you want, just go down to the the old local bookstore, with the glory holes and all that kind of nonsense. Go over to the Mad Max 2 Road Warrior salon where they hand out the kind of studded leather things that that blonde pieces of you sit on back of fucking mutant bikes wearing and shit, But no, you got to pay to see this. Here's what it says. Stars of the newest Disney Plus Marvel show, Agatha, all along, endorsed this show as the gayest Marvel project yet, ahead of the series premiere on the streaming platform Wednesday. Boy, you're talking about gay shows and streaming. Gay streaming. It's, I don't know. Seems, I don't know. This is a show about water sports. I'm confused. Agatha All Along is a sequel to the popular, and I put it in quotes even though they didn't, popular WandaVision miniseries, which premiered on Disney in 2021. It focuses on Catherine Hahn's character, Agatha Harkness, as she sets off on a dangerous, mysterious adventure filled with trials and tribulations. While at the red carpet launch in Los Angeles on Monday, several cast members were asked by Variety senior culture editor Mark Malkin. And by the way, if it's the clips I saw, old Mark was really, laying it on thick himself. It was almost like Charles Nelson Riley had risen from the grave and gotten, a bleached hair. And he said, he's saying, would you react to claims the show was the gayest Marvel project yet? And actress Aubrey Plaza said, it better be, because that's what I signed up for. God. And the thing is, I really love Aubrey Plaza. I think she's so weird and sexy and hot. There's just something about her. She is fucking insanely hot. She was on Legion. There's just something crazy, that crazy bitch thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
What can I say, man? She makes me sweat. It makes me sweat, just like the In Excess song. Malkin went on to compliment Plaza on her character's chemistry with Agatha, played by Hahn in the show, and then he asked, what's wrong with this guy? If the show would get gayer and gayer as it went on. She says, yes, darling, but I can't tell you how, she said, grinning, before joking, but yes, it will be a gay explosion at the end. A gay explosion.
Great.
Well, I know what a straight explosion is. That's Ron Jeremy, but I'm not sure what a gay explosion. I don't know.
Can't wait to find out.
Yeah, and we are going to find out because we're all going to have to watch this shit. So
Wait,
Dylan
what?
We gotta at
Mulvaney will
least
show
watch-
up.
Yes, Osaka Chandal. We're going to have to watch it.
We are?
And then, yeah, at least a few episodes. It starts tonight, so you've got something to look forward to when the show ends.
So glad I beat COVID so I could come back to Agatha. Awesome, Doomcock. Wow, talk about the gifting. Thank you, Disney Plus. Doomcock, don't you think if they're gonna keep doing this crap that they ought to they should have a different streaming service called Disney Plus After Dark? You know what I mean?
No kidding.
I know. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a culinary equivalent of watching Agatha all along. Probably something like what's that? What's that, Robert?
Colonoscopy prep.
No, I was thinking more like you get a hot dog bun and you stick a certain type of thing in the hot dog bun, smother it in mayonnaise, get a hammer, tenderize it real good, get a barbecue fork and stick it a few fucking times and ta-da! You've got a show.
You forgot the smash broken shards of glass.
Hey.
Yeah, you could do that, sure. Like relish, like green glass, and you put it on like relish, rub it in real good.
So you can swallow it all down.
Well, no, you don't eat it. No. Only unless you're one of these people that wanted Acolyte Season 2 renewed, in which case maybe you do eat it. Here's a quote from, let's see, what idiot said this? Sashir Zamata said this. When asked if it was gay as slut, he said, I would agree with that, yeah. Actress Sashir Zamata responded and said, you'll see when you watch it, but I think witches are queer inherently, just because we are outcasts and set aside for many reasons. I think the show shows a really good representation of different types of people, and that we can all use the power we have within to go forth and be great.
Will they take the acolyte and make it more modern?
I
Stupid
don't know.
quote.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is they're bragging about it. They're bragging about it. And Fox pointed out, the cast comments come roughly 1 month after Disney officially canceled The Acolyte, which is showrunner billed as the gayest Star Wars ever ahead of its premiere. So
Yeah.
it's kind of ironic. What say you all? Let's start with Osaka Chandal this time. Osaka Chandal, are you excited about Agatha all along?
Yippee! Something to torture people with. Yay!
Yeah. The Taliban are making note. They're wetting their pencils,
If
but
I was
they're not using their pagers though. They're not using their pagers. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Let's
but
see,
if I was one of those
waterboarding or Agatha? Well, Agatha, of course. We already have the subscription for Disney Plus. We don't have any water.
let's admit it,
Yeah,
we're all keeping
yeah.
Disney Plus because we all want to watch the rest of Shogun. That's the only reason why we
Oh.
still have it.
Well, that's a good point. And we're going to talk about Shogun in a minute because Rob Wright was pointing out, and so did you, Osaka Chandal, that they had a great night. But anyone want to comment about Agatha all along?
Well, this is another
move on?
example of the terrible marketing they do. It would be interesting. I mean, we're going to see it. So just how gay is it really? Yet they keep doing this. Really, like with Acolyte, it was there, but it wasn't really like, oh, this is the gayest show ever and all that stuff. And that's how they marketed it. And without ever telling you anything of, well, what is the Acolyte? Well, what's it really about? You barely got any of that. And then the show rolled out, and it wasn't very good to begin with anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So with Agatha, what they've teased that I could see is that there is this character in there who I suspect is probably the son of Wanda Scarlet Witch. And in the comics, that character was always gay. And that goes on to do what they supposedly are pursuing, the Young Avengers and that whole thing. I don't know that they'll ever get there at this point after what they've done to the brand. But that sort of thing where it's credible within the story and original and whatnot, okay, fine. But how these guys operate. It's going to be a crappy show. The whole shift to Agatha over Doctor Strange because they suddenly realized he was white and male to sabotage their own show and throw that in there and think that's, this is the breakout star of that disaster of a show that started out pretty interesting. And maybe they would have had something, but they had to sabotage it. Can't help themselves. And then here you have the face of that. And then on top of it, hey, everybody, guess what? It's so gay, it's going to explode with gayness, That's your marketing strategy, not about, it's this witch trying to get her powers back and, witches overall and stuff and how that, fits in with the Marvel Universe and all that. Nah, just forget about all that. That's meaningless. It's gay, huh? Yeah. And that's it. And that's what I'm wondering. It's like, can't you, any of you idiots, figure out how to defend your shows? No. So this is one of these products that they're stuck with. It was shot some time ago. It probably would have been released already. I don't know, but my advice is to dump it all at once, and rip that Band-Aid off as fast as you can. But here again, this is how they market it. So that'll be the only interesting thing. Just how gay is it? That'll be the thing we can report on. each Wednesday here on Pop Culture.
Yes.
Pay enough to get 75,000 signatures to get it renewed after it's fucking canceled.
Exactly. So get ready. Get ready to make.
Get ready to sign that petition, kids.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Here's the other thing, Doug, to add on to this. It's like, we had WandaVision and everybody was anticipating, hey, who's behind all this? There was speculation, Mephisto and a couple others, and they were like, ooh, they were excited for the villain. And then we find out it's Agatha that's the villain, and people were like, what? Who the heck? What? People didn't even know her. I didn't know her from all the Marvel villains that were out there.
I did, and that's not a good depiction of her. She's much older.
She's an old woman.
Yeah.
Right, in the comics, right.
Yeah, so you have this character that's not very well known, not portrayed particularly the right way, and now you've got a whole spinoff series about her when your audience didn't really react the way you wanted them to react in the beginning to her. So the question is not only why are you selling this product, but why this character?
Yeah.
What the hell is Disney's obsession with witches? I mean, what is always a witch? What the fuck is all with the witches?
They're playing the witches right now because Halloween's coming up. I think that's why they're trying to push it.
They didn't know that when it was.
But they're just trying to wing with it right now because Agatha was pushed back. It was supposed to be released before, but it was so bad they tried to fix it. But now they keep trying to promote it as gay, and it's just like, what are you doing? Who is this for? Because people who are actually Wiccan, they're gonna get offended because with the statement with that actress saying like, "Oh, all witches are gay," kind of thing, and they're like, "No, they're not. Wiccan are both male and female. It actually is a religion, and in fact, Salem has a college, a university for Wiccans. So they might get offended by that statement from that actor."
They may. Mike, were you about to say something?
No, I was going to agree with her with what she just said. So I was just going to.
Oh, okay.
I was going to make a similar point and agree. I will add something else though that I just thought about, which is that then one of the actors says that as each week goes by, it'll get gayer and gayer and gayer. I think what would be really interesting is to watch the show progress, and so each week as it gets gayer and gayer, we have to ask ourselves, will it get as gay as Rob's microphone?
Never.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
Bad Mexican Iron Man. Bad.
Mexican Iron Man recommended that I get a new microphone and a boom mic.
Oh, well. And a boom mic. Shit. I don't know, a few more weeks of this and we're just going to start dressing up like the Village People. We're just going to show up here with, Tool Man belts and shit. And, But Osaka Chandal makes a good point. I mean, witches belong to Halloween, but not necessarily, gay witches. But all the witches are gay witches. Halloween is not that. It's not, like Monster Mash doesn't start out, I was working with my lube late one night. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. Damn it. When my eyes beheld a stunning sight, when my monster from its slab began to rise, yes.
Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas.
I know. That's the opening of the show,
Get a grip from my electrodes.
Oh, yes. There's a variety of toys to play with.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
But, I guess this all kind of started out, like Mike was saying, that they all had their fiefdoms. So Star Wars comes in, wow, we got the Acolyte. And then Marvel goes, oh, yeah, well, we've got Agatha. So I see who wins this one.
Did you guys hear what the main actress who plays Agatha said when they interviewed her?
What did she say?
Well, they interviewed her, and that one interviewer who keeps asking about, oh, is it the gayest show ever? Blah, blah, blah. Well, he asked her about, how do you think it's going to do for the next season? And she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. That was the first thing she said, no. But, I'm sorry, if I was one of the actors. Yeah, she said it's not going to happen. And then she went on with the rest of her answer. But I was like, if I was an actress on that show and that guy came up and he's like, oh, is this the gayest Marvel show ever? I would respond, is that the best question you have? Aren't you going to actually ask about the show or the storyline? Why are you making the story just about that? Because you know they are straight characters. You don't go asking other shows, is this the straightest show ever? So why is
Well,
it
that's
okay to ask
true.
that
That's a-
question?
We're gonna have to at some point. You know?
At some point, it's like, well, we'll
Are
go.
there
Then.
any
We'll
straight
go.
people in the show?
Yes, yes.
But you know, the actress saying that like, you know, what about next season? And she says, oh, that's not going to happen. Is kind of the equivalent of getting a fortune cookie and opening it up and getting a message saying, help, I'm being held prisoner in a Chinese fortune cookie. You know what I mean? I mean, she's like, it's a cry for help. You know, if she was dyslexic, it would be a cry for play, you know? But I digress.
Yeah.
Don't
forget what cookies though, Jim Cock, you know.
What's that, Robert?
You know the joke about what you're supposed to add to the end of a fortune cookie, right?
No.
In bed. So whatever your fortune is, in bed. And then a friend.
All right.
Well,
I did.
We won't go there.
I didn't. Okay. All right. I've never heard that one. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, so Rob, go ahead and walk us through. Osaka Chandal mentioned this, and I want to get her perspective on this. You know, from Japan as well. But Rob, I understand that Shogun actually cleaned up at the Emmys.
Yes, it did. So Shogun has won 18 awards across the year, which is the most for any show. It won 4 awards at the Emmys. Not that anybody really watched or cared about the Emmys, but it won 4 awards, which included acting and directing, which I definitely would agree. It was well directed and well acted. The show debuted on Fox, streamed on Hulu, and it was the first program from Disney Network to win Best Drama as well. Since another show that Doomcock doesn't like that we won't mention, Lost. Anyway, so it won and swept a lot of the categories, the big categories: acting, directing, best drama. So we thought it was a good show. The only problem that I had with it was the lighting wasn't as good. And like Doomcock, I loved watching it in Japanese because I could get the inflection and understand the characters a little bit better. So if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth your time. And if you have time to watch it in Japanese and read the subtitles, do that. Otherwise, you can flip it and they'll do English translation. But well-deserved, well done. We should support great shows like this. And great shows like this should, win Emmys like that. So very pleased to hear about that. But Osaka Chandal, it was filmed and done in your native language in Japanese. We'd love to hear your perspective on this.
It was really well received here. No one ever said anything really bad about it. As for the lighting, it was because when they filmed it, it was actually during the rainy season. So the natural lighting itself, that's how it actually was where they were located. Because there were also a lot of the filming was up towards the mountains, which also gave them the amazing visuals of what you've seen with the sceneries. So yeah, so when they went for the Emmys and they were nominated and stuff, everyone was like, oh, please don't let them do what they did with Godzilla -1. Don't let them just get one award. And when they started calling them for the awards, every time they kept winning, everyone was really happy about it. And then to know that it actually broke records for the amount of awards it won for a TV show. Yeah, Japan's really, really proud. And Sonata is actually one of my favorite actors, so I was really happy. And as for the show, my 75-year-old mother here, she watched it with me, and she loves it. She absolutely loved it. She grew up watching the original, and she also read the novel. And for her, it was just she just was taken wow, you actually made the book come to life. And what a lot of people don't realize it was Yeah, it's based on the novel, but the novel is actually based on historical facts that happen. And the thing that's not real in the show is their names. They changed their names. That's not their real names for the historical characters. But they did that on purpose so that because a lot of the families of the characters, they're still alive. And so they don't want to like cause any drama or trouble for the existing families. So that was pretty cool.
Mm.
No, that's I'm trying to figure out why JRC 99US didn't get an invite. I included him in the. I'm just going to check the email here real quick.
While you're doing that,
and
Jim,
then
can I ask Osaka a quick question?
yeah, go ahead.
So I was watching the making of that show, and from what I thought I understood from the making of, that they used certain dialects that were more prevalent back in that time. Do you know anything about that? Is that true? Or
Yeah. See, Japan is broken up into different prefectures. So there's a lot of different dialects. And Tokyo is probably the most modern dialect for like today's time because it's more introverted for a lot of foreigners. So a lot of the words get mixed in. So because there's a lot of words in English that we don't have here in Japan, like we don't use in the Japanese language. So they actually had to go back to a lot of the older dialects, which was used like in Osaka or Kyoto or even Okinawa. Like a lot of those places, especially in like the countryside, we still use the old dialect. So they had to go back to the old dialect of how people spoke to make it more believable for the show.
That's interesting. My look, I love Shogun the book. I've always loved Shogun the book. It's actually I think it's one of the best reads I ever had. Honestly, I mean, it just kicks ass and it moves incredibly well, and the characterization is brilliant. But the thing, and I thought that the acting was superb. I thought the writing was superb, but I could not get over how shitty this fucking thing looked. Oh my God. Japan is supposed to be a beautiful, beautiful place. And I don't care whether it really was or where they really shot, make the damn thing beautiful. And it just looked like shit. It looked like it was shot like in one of those wraparound environments, like they shoot, the fucking Mandalorian on, or it just looked phony to me. It looked like garbage, and I think that the acting had to shine through all of that. It really bugged the shit out of me.
I think it would have gone better had they. It's kind of like deciding to shoot a movie about the United States in Seattle during the winter season, and they did it.
Well,
digitally.
then don't do it.
Right. Well, I was about to say what you should do is that if you're going to try to capture that, they needed to shoot it in shoot it in film and none of it in digital. And there was a lot of it also matters the camera and the film that you use. So it would have felt differently. And I agree with you. I changed the lighting settings on my TV by the third episode. I changed the lighting season. I changed all the settings, and it was more finishing. It was more enjoyable than the first 3 episodes. I was you know me with lighting. I'm like you. So, but I changed all my lighting settings on my 4K TV, and it worked. But that took me 20 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that too. But we understood it's about especially when they were filming outside, is because they were filming during, like I said, once again, the rainy and typhoon season. And we got hit pretty bad, especially during the time when they were filming. And then people were like, oh, why don't they film when the weather's warmer? It's like, well, that's the summer. And you do not want to be filming during the summer in Japan because you can literally die from the heat. It is so hot. Like even right now, the temperature is still in the 90s and it's already fall. And it's crazy.
Mm.
Well, all right. I'm still bitching about it. which is better, the original Shogun adaptation with Richard Chamberlain, or this one? Any opinions?
According to my mom, this one.
All
she
right.
said
well, that's
the other one, as good as it was, it still had a little bitness to be offensive. But because of the time of Hollywood and how it was back then, especially with the actors not being like, you know, majority of a Japanese cast. What they tend to do in a lot of the old stuff, rather than hire Japanese actors, they'll hire Chinese or Korean. So a lot of Japanese people
I
get
see.
really turned off to the show because of it, because it's almost like they can't tell the difference between Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. They just said, oh, you won't tell the difference. All Asian people look alike. Let's just pick Chinese.
I
So
gotcha.
yeah, so a lot of people didn't like that. And so with
Okay.
this show, it actually had the cast a majority of Japanese people. So yeah, it was good representation for Japan.
Well, fair enough. Thank you for that clarification. That is actually education. I was wondering about that. And here we have JRC99US, who I have just taught to use Gmail.
Thank you. Thank you very
hadn't
much.
checked his invite there, but we got him here. How are you, JRC99US? Welcome to the show. And yes, New Trek is not Star Trek.
Yes, there we go. And just for the occasion. So
All right.
I am doing great. I am so glad that my internet is working, unlike last time, as everybody, if anybody remembers.
Absolutely.
Doing great. Took some notes before I jumped in here. So I found it very fascinating that when they were talking about Agatha, that we should search within ourselves for the gayest show to be on Disney. And I'm like, what is exactly inside yourself? Anyway, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm doing great.
Well, welcome, JRC99US. Glad you could join us here tonight, my friend. And I just didn't want you to think you were not invited. I did give that to you.
Okay.
But let's see. Let me see. What was the? We have so many topics tonight. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit, Gary, about this disturbing story about Lionsgate and AI. What do you think? Should we do that?
Yeah, sure. Did you want to? Can you pull up the article, or do you want to just read some of it?
Let me see. Hold on a sec. I was fumbling around with. I've got the article in front of me. I can read some of it.
Maybe just give him the highlights. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gary found this story actually. Lionsgate Inc.'s deal with AI firm to mine its massive film and TV library. The deal will see Runway train a new AI model on Lionsgate film and TV library as the entertainment company uses the tech to develop cutting-edge, capital-efficient content creation opportunities. In other words, a bunch of synthetic shit, grave robbing the past. This is really creepy, folks.
Yeah.
It says they're vague about what it is. The article basically says, while details are scarce, the companies say that the new model will be customized to Lionsgate's proprietary portfolio of film and TV content and exclusive to the studio. The purpose will be to help Lionsgate Studios, its filmmakers, directors, and other creative talent augment their work. And of course, Lionsgate is the studio behind John Wick, The Hunger Games, a bunch of other franchises. Everyone in the business is looking at the potential for the tech closely, given the speed with which generative AI tech can create images and video based on text or image prompts. This is disturbing.
So according to the article, this is the very first time this deal has gone through with a major studio. And what it means is you made a good point where when you said that it's very vague. It's very vague because they don't want to describe anything too detailed. But what it means is that the studio can now use AI technology and are announcing that they're using it. I mean, you could pretty much do it without announcing it, but they're coming out and saying, look, we're going to go ahead and be using this. We're not going to tell you exactly what it's for, but I mean, we all know now how easy it is to just type something in and have AI generate something out of a few words. How is anyone going to know now when AI has generated a script, or whether there's been someone that's been hired in the writing room to do that, or an image. I mean, we'll know about an image, but still, like there's so much jiggery pokery that can be done behind the scenes with AI, and it's going to take away people's jobs. It's going to take away the human element, the human experience, the human adventure of storytelling and art. So
Yeah.
this is just the first one. This is the very first announced deal with a major studio that they're just like, yeah, we're going to be doing this. So get ready. And we've seen how far AI has come in what, a year and a half since we watched that manic video of Will Smith eating the spaghetti.
Right.
To now. I mean, to now, sometimes you're looking at it like, yeah, I hope she's real. You know, like you don't know whether it's fake or not. But I mean, thank God we have technology that can detect this shit now.
Right, the AI can detect when the AI has been doing shit.
Exactly.
Don't worry, the good AI will protect you from the bad.
Of course.
Don't worry, I'm a good AI.
This is a very interesting first step for a major studio just publicly announcing we have a deal with this, and this is what we're doing.
Well,
This
AI
is the future. Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say AI can also take your voice and create all new dialogues, so you don't even need to hire a voice actor.
Oh yeah,
that character. So you could have.
I've heard
much done. Yeah,
I heard Waylon Jennings. I heard Waylon Jennings singing 50 Cent on YouTube the other day.
There you go.
That's so
cool. And I was like, wow, this is quite amazing. Okay.
Now, going forward, the legal problems are going to be, a legion on this because, and then also with AI, says, okay, you're going to use an AI writer for your scripts or whatever, and you prompt it, like the initial pitch is the prompt for the script and whatnot. But what can AI do? And granted, you can make the argument everything is derivative, but it's doubly so with AI because that's all it can be. So you're not going to get anything original or creative out of it.
Right.
So ultimately, it's going to defeat itself just in that sense alone. But for a while, they're going to do it. Of course, it's so much cheaper. There you go.
I mean, but it's cutting out the human soul.
Right.
Art.
You're not going to have that, and that's going to show up. Eventually, it's going to take a while.
Like with any technology, it's the responsible way on how to use it. For example, I made the song for Doomcock, but I used the voice more with the help of AI to change my voice for the song because I can't carry some of the notes. But I wrote the song and everything, and I came up with the type of style of music I wanted and what kind of rhythm and all that stuff. But I had to use the help of AI to convert my voice. For example, I sound like more than one person, like a half chorus.
Right.
I'm not gonna pay people.
Well, Osaka, that's you're an independent creator.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you don't have multiple millions of dollars to back you in a recording studio to provide that lovely song for us. So that's fine, but we're talking about a major movie studio.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like it all depends on like how the studio use it and how responsible with them using it. That's the problem. They mostly won't because they're greedy.
Right. Well, and mainly they're also tired. They're also tired of picketing, and they're tired of stuff that happens with unions. Whether you're for a union or against a union, it doesn't matter. They can now cut you out of it.
Yeah, so, that's true. Especially like with the strikes we had with in Hollywood, because not only did it's the actors not working, but you have like staff members, people who build sets, people who do the clothing and the hair, and all of them were out of work because these people wanted more money.
Yeah,
exactly. And more of them could be out of work because of AI. But the other thing that scares me that I don't like is you may bring back dead actors to star
without their permission.
Without
that's right.
We may get a new John Wayne movie, and I'd love to see another John Wayne movie, but I don't want to see an AI version of John Wayne. I don't want that. That's not what he would have wanted either, I don't think.
And
I mean, if AI keeps going the way it's going, then I mean, ultimately, entertainment will be as empty and soulless as it is coming out of Disney. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
AI will
That's a
hit
scary
that
thought.
Disney plateau
Yeah.
eventually. Right now, it's better, but
Yeah.
it's gonna eventually get as bad. And the thing that really scares the shit out of me, and I'd like JRC99US to weigh in on this. The thing that really scares the shit out of me is that this is like the death of truth. You know, I mean, at least now we have the potential for having a little bit of truth. You know, seeing is believing, hearing is believing, but it's going to get so good that eventually we're not even going to be able to trust what any of our political candidates say. We're not going to even be able to trust, you know, what our family members or spouses say. For example, there's a scam going around where AI is being used to emulate your wife's voice, calling you saying that she's in trouble or being held hostage and you need to give her X amount of money. This is an extremely, extremely dangerous time. And not enough people are alarmed enough, you know, in my opinion. What do you think, JRC99US?
Oh, sure. As a guy who actually has a degree in IT and works with constant technology, I think we might even be looking at a problem. I think we might be looking at a problem of, you know, for like a typical, like, think about the scammers that could use something like this, like the scammers, overseas scammers, they could do something like this to disguise their voice, maybe even their, you know, their accents and stuff. But I'm just like sitting here thinking, wow, I thought Skynet was fictional, but boy, we are really getting close to something like this. So it definitely has a lot of danger value to it, and not only just like from security to political to anything on the spectrum, but I would think like especially for people who are, you know, have jobs in acting or voice acting, and these kind of things. Just I just, it's amazing that we're here. I never even thought we'd even get here.
Yeah, it's a disturbing situation, and I'm just not shit. You know, I'm just really, it's too evil even for a evil overlord to contemplate. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any other comments on this before we go to some super chats, and then Douglas Nelson is going to tell us about Tom Bombadil.
Ooh,
Yay.
nice.
Yeah, I have one statement. If
Go ahead.
AI does take over, will you release Harvey Cthulhu?
Yes, I will.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I will. And Harvey assures me AIs can get stomped just as easily as old ladies and Girl Scouts. So let's go ahead and get to some super chats here. All right. Well, I'm having trouble with sharing the. I'm using a different browser. I got to figure out what the fuck. All right. So I can't show the chat window up here, folks. Sorry about that. But we'll just go ahead and. What?
I just want to show everyone my skull of
Can y'all still hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and. God damn it. What the fuck is going on here? That's really annoying. All right. Well, sorry about that, folks, but I'll read these super chats here real quick. London 19657 gifted an Overlord DVD membership to this channel. Thank you, London 19657. Deeply appreciated, my friend. And Mr. Eagle Flying with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Eagle Flying. Says a pop culture breakdown moment for actor, singer, and songwriter J.D. Souther. He wrote my two favorite Eagles songs, Heartache Tonight and New Kid in Town. Lived a good life to the age of 78. Oh man, I love New Kid in Town and Heartache Tonight. But New Kid in Town is one of my favorite Eagles songs. And Yeah. Thank you, JD Souther. Incredible stuff. May he rest in peace. That is a loss to those of us who love music, folks. That is really sad. Jack White with a $10 super chat and a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jack White. He says, upcoming anime premiere dates: Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War Part 3, 10/5, Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deduction Season 2 on 10/7, Rurouni Kenshin 2023 Season 2 on 10/3, and Demon Lord 2099 on 10/12. And then he says, and did you get those manga I sent you links to on Amazon yet, my lord? And new series recommendation, The Kingdoms of Ruin and Redo of Healer. I have ordered them, Jack, and I appreciate the heads up on that, brother. Very, very much appreciated. I love the suggestions that you make for me on anime and manga. Hail to you, sir. I haven't started reading them yet, but they're in the queue. Israel R with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Israel R says, hail DC and panel. I can't stay for the show, but wanted to drop some support. I'm glad the general public are realizing the mind virus of wokeness. Total Recall is just another example of badassness with mutant boobs. God bless. God bless you, Israel R. You see things clearly, sir. You see the important things in life. Thank you, my friend. And Redwood the Elf with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Redwood the Elf. Says, congratulations to Pixar for performing a DEI-ectomy on Inside Out 2. I love it. Now that they've learned to treat the symptom, perhaps they'll work on the disease next by eliminating their DEI hire employees. Well, that would be very nice, Redwood the Elf. That would be very, very nice indeed. Yeah, well, a DEI-ectomy. That's kind of the perfect way to put it, man. I was searching for the right way to put it. I put de-wokify, de-gay eyes, but I think, DEI-ectomy is kind of perfect. And Israel R, as if that super chat was not enough, Israel R gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. Thank you so much, Israel R. Truly appreciate you, my friend. Very kind. We got 21 new members tonight, folks, and that is great. I just today posted another exclusive channel member video, and it was a good one, where I was ripping apart an article wherein the Acolyte Advocate was calling for censorship and silencing of Star Wars critics so that, they could stop picking on the Acolyte. Yeah, that's the mentality of these woke assholes. They'll go ahead and sacrifice freedom of speech so that they can have their little woke messaging pass by unchallenged. What assholes they are. Israel R, thank you for those 5 channel memberships. Trevin Lane, and my point was basically that it's a great time to be a channel member. I'm putting out a new channel member video, uncensored, every single week. And what do I mean by uncensored? Well, in YouTube videos these days, you'll get demonetized if you use the F word. You got to watch how much you swear, where you swear. And I just demonetize channel member videos and swear the fuck away, and I can say anything I want to, and it feels very freeing. So you channel members get the very best of the best, folks. Thank you for being channel members, folks, and thanks to everybody who has given a channel membership this time. Trevin Lane with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Trevin Lane says, hail DC, panel, and chat. This has been a good week in gaming, with Space Marine 2 and Lollipop Chainsaw Repopped coming out. Pistachio Muffin for Sabu and passes the muffin to Sabu. Thank you very much, Trevin Lane. We appreciate that, and so does Sabu. Yes, Space Marine 2 is not woke, and it's driving the woke wankers crazy that it's not. It's a great time to be alive this week, folks. Woke is on the run, and everything feels fresher, looks brighter, smells cleaner. Edward Bailey has joined the channel membership, or renewed their channel membership at the Dominion level. Thank you, Edward Bailey. Hail to you, Edward Bailey. Stephen J., thank you for the $2 super chat as well, although it was deleted for some reason. Maybe it was political, maybe it had language in it that we YouTube doesn't appreciate, I don't know. But thank you just the same, sir. Casey Osowski, the amazing Casey Osowski, gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. Hail to you, Casey Osowski. Boy, isn't this great? You guys are absolutely awesome. And Casey, we love you, brother. Scott V with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Scott. Says, hail Doomcock and panel. Rule number 1, go woke and you grow broke. Rule number 2, refer back to rule number 1. But all woke people, stay out of our pop culture. Live long and prosper. Hail Scott V. That's right. Rule 1, go woke, go broke. Rule 2, refer back to rule 1. I think that covers it all. Thank you, Scott V. Warachi with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Warachi. Says, Zegler's Law, the probability that a show will suck is related to the vapid stupidity spewed forth from the actors' mouths at every possible moment. Also sent Gary 6 Boys Life magazines from 1961. Wow, that's pretty cool. Hail Warachi, some vintage Boys Life magazines. When boys were boys and men were men. Outstanding. Hail to you, Warachi. Thank you, sir, for that. I'm sure he's very much appreciative. And Muzzle Velocity with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Muzzle Velocity. He says, hail all. I am sorry to say that I must chat and run. I will not be here when this gets read, but that is due to having to be away tonight. Do not hold it against me, and hail Xanadu. Hail Muzzle Velocity. Well, brother, thanks for supporting the channel. We definitely appreciate it. Wish you were here, but, well, God bless you for thinking of us, my friend. Thank you. Stark of Iron with a $20 super chat. And by the way, Stark of Iron will be joining us for Total Recall in the 3rd segment. He's a huge fan of the movie, and we just could not turn him away from this. And Stark of Iron, thank you, sir, for the super chat. He says, I sent a member chat but had to retract it. So show YouTube switched woke to women in the phrase, the wages of woke is broke. Could be space interference on my flight to Hotel Mars. Hail DC panel mods and chat. I love you. Well, that explains the retracted one I saw, my friend. Hail to you, Stark of Iron, and we'll see you in just about an hour. All right, Casey Osowski with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Casey. Says, hail all, God bless you one and all. God bless you, Casey Osowski, the soul of generosity. We love you, brother. And Harvey says hi as well, brother. We really appreciate you, Casey. You are awesome. Eric C. with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Eric C. Says, as long as the people who hate us and want to see Western civilization destroyed remain at Disney/Pixar, they will not receive a dime from me. Good. Hey, listen, without respect, we reject. And one of the strategies behind that is to keep your wallets closed. Keep your wallets closed until they display the proper amount of respect. And, if somebody hates you, if somebody is trying to, vandalize your beloved treasures, fuck them. Don't give them a dime. Don't give them the time of day. Don't piss on them, even if they're on fire. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Eric C. Agent Pepsi 1 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Agent Pepsi 1. Says, as an honorary Gen X person, I don't care about straight or not. I have gay and trans friends. What I care about is that lifestyle isn't pushed on me. That's exactly correct, Agent Pepsi 1. That's exactly how I feel, folks. I feel that it is very important, it's vital, that a minority should not be oppressed by a majority. That's how a republic should function. But conversely, the majority should not be oppressed by the minority. It just goes both ways. But it is oppressive to have minority viewpoints and concerns inflicted on every single fucking piece of entertainment, that you can't get away from it. That is oppression. That is tyranny. And that is why we fight it. There's nothing wrong with the creating, gay and trans content for that specific target audience. God bless them. Live and let live. That if they want that, they certainly should have it. But it shouldn't be in every fucking thing. shouldn't be in every theme park and in our faces 24 hours a day. That is oppression of the majority by the minority. And Casey Osowski, who's been an arch villain of mine for 52 months now. Thank you, Casey. You are awesome. He says, Hail, Master. Thanks for 52 months friendship, fellowship, and fun. Bless you. Bless you, Casey Osowski. And Mr. House Party 6 gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. Thank you, Mr. House Party 6, and Echoes of the Ancients. Also gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. No wonder we have 21 new members here tonight, folks. Please go, all you Doomentites and arch villains, and go check out all of the member videos that I've been putting out over the last few weeks. I think you'll find that there's some damn good stuff in there. And Echoes of the Ancients. Been a channel member for 36 months now. Thank you, Echoey1. Says, there's no hope. Set Harvey free, please. I'm going to check Harvey's bank account and see if there was a payoff to Echoes of the Ancients. I have a feeling there may be some pay for play here. There may be some payola scams going along or something. Hail to you, Echoes of the Ancients. I love you anyway, even if you have been temporarily seduced by the cult of Harvey. And Michael Beacom with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Michael Beacom. Says, regarding Disney, recovering from woke is like throwing a speedboat into reverse. It will keep moving forward until the propeller action overcomes the momentum and direction is reversed. This is true. I mean, these projects often have been in development for years. You know, back when woke was more viable. It doesn't surprise me that Agatha all along is going to be woke as fuck after, you know, Inside Out 2 wasn't. We're going to see kind of erratic swinging between the fiefdoms and the various studios in Hollywood. But the trend is towards sanity, I think. I really think we're turning the corner. I think people are getting sick and tired of losing. They're sick and tired of losing. And I think they're ready for a change. And Gunstar1, Gunstar1, gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. Thank you so much, Gunstar1. Hail to you, sir. Deeply appreciated. Oiler Greg with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Oiler Greg. Says, you're half human, Doomcock. Remember. Cheers. Thank you, Oiler Greg. Hey, buddy. It's good to see you. It's been a while. How you been, man?
Hail, Oiler Greg.
Hail to the great Oiler Greg. And American Patriot's dad, a.k.a. Richard Spake, has been an arch villain of mine for 22 months now. Outstanding. Hail to you, Richard Spake. And he says, howdy, boss. Agatha wasn't a villain in the comics. She was Franklin Richards' nanny and the magical teacher of the Scarlet Witch. Her kids, on the other hand, now, they were definitely vile villains. No, I remember. I've owned that issue. I don't remember if I still have it or not, but I used to read the Fantastic Four, and you're absolutely right. Agatha was nothing like they are trying to paint her now. All right, well, let's go ahead now and welcome Andy Masterson to the show. Hey, Andy, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Andy.
And Andy is muted.
Andy.
I'm muted.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. It just goes
All right.
to fit this day. Somebody left a cake out in the rain.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't think it was going to rain that fast.
Well, we all reached that certain age.
Andy,
I don't
what happened to
think
your
that I
face?
can take it.
Well, so my son bought a nice pair of clippers, which were much better than the ones I had. So when I went to trim my beard, it gosh, shit. And now I had to start over.
Oh,
It's like,
all
Oh
right.
my God.
Geez, you look 10 years younger.
You look dashing.
That's
Look at
not
that.
Andy.
You
That's
look
totally
dashing, Andy.
Sounds like first world problems, Andy.
Yeah. You know what Andy looks like? Andy looks like, it's the gynecologist's equivalent of a farmer's tan.
Yes.
Think about it.
Dude, I
Can
was
I-
drinking my coffee.
Can I show Andy something really?
Sure. Well, is it about my just comment there or no? Okay, go ahead, Andy.
So, Andy, I have this T-shirt, so I wanted to show you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see
Oh, there we go.
it. And then I made this one, which Gary said I should show you, that Gary really liked, and it is this one.
The Skull of Calderon.
Oh.
Very nicely done. The Skull of Calderon, ladies and gentlemen. What a vile and twisted soul he is.
Yeah, the Skull of Calderon doesn't like Gary and I very much. I think it has to do with something like when we get bored down here, we'll occasionally have a catch with this little sphere. We call it the penis of Calderon.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just does not like.
He's busted us dressing up as Jar too,
Yeah.
his little sphere. We put wigs and, lipstick on it and stuff. And,
Oh, dear God.
yeah.
I could have lived a whole long time without knowing this shit, but okay. Well, and speaking of shit, let's let Doug Nelson talk about some of the shit that he's been watching. What's going on with Rings of Power? Doug, I hate that you're watching it. I wish you wouldn't damage yourself in this way, but if you are, we might as well benefit from it. What's going on with Tom Bombadil? Is Tom Bombadil faithfully portrayed?
You got me. Well, the is he Gandalf or not Gandalf, the stranger, as he's credited, stumbles upon Tom Bombadil, and Tom Bombadil is being all mysterious, and oh boy, there's a great evil out there, and they're positioning that Tom Bombadil is the opposite of Sauron. So yeah, okay, and that he's
Tom
got
fucking Bombadil.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. But he's all mysterious and works behind the scenes type thing by, I don't know, cooking the guy some chili and stuff like that, and insinuating that it's Gandalf's job to one day take down Sauron, which he doesn't really ever do. He works towards the end. Yeah, sure. He's one of the heroes, but he's not the main one. So I don't know. They don't know. They're just throwing them in there. Hey, look, Tom Bombadil. The movies didn't have him, but we did. So there you go. And boy, you'll love this one, Doomcock. It kind of reminded me of Lost.
Oh God! No.
When they introduced Jacob and stuff, So that's what Tom Bombadil is.
Oh God Almighty!
And I guess Sauron, he's the smoke monster,
Oh fucking hell! Are you
Middle Earth
kidding?
is an island, and
I was gonna say,
with
are they
a
going to
cork
move
in
the
it?
island?
yeah. I'm sure they will. Why not?
Right up Tolkien's dead ass. That's where they're going to move it.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So, they're blurring together. So there's been 2 more episodes since the last we talked about it. So the 4 and 5, I guess. And then one of the things I noticed about the initial 3 was that, like I said, they kind of diminished Galadriel, as where she was Wonder Woman in the previous one and all that stuff, and that sort of thing. Well, by as episode 4, she's back in action. She does her whole Xena warrior princess moves on the and basically damn near wipes out all the orcs single-handedly. But then I don't know, she slipped on a banana peel and got captured. But once again, beyond that, just how amazingly and very Wonder Woman like she was in fighting them and stuff was, again, with the exception of Elrond, all the other elves were like, wow, she's amazing. My God.
Oh God.
And all this kind of stuff. The only saving grace is Elrond says, no, she's just doing that because she wants to protect the ring and that kind of thing. So I said, yeah, I guess. But
will she or won't she? Is that basically it? Like, is she gonna put out for Sauron, or is she on the side of Elrond?
Well, she's very serious about that ring. So you put a ring on it. Well, that's yours. So anyway, that's what. But every time they do that, it just, oh yeah, that's right, she's the Mary Sue of the show and all that. So that's about it. I mean, Bombadil's there basically, and that's about it so far. And
Yeah. Who else has seen this on the panel? Rob Wright has seen this. So y'all can. Oh, you've seen it too, Osaka Chandal. So we'll go around and just kind of get some different takes on it. Did you have anything else to say about it, Doug, or is it really like nothing is happening on the thing? I mean,
no, not a whole lot. I mean, there's still Sauron's, manipulating the development of the rings. He's still pushing forward. They showed some different examples of what it can do. One of the elves accidentally turns invisible as they're working on it, and so it's that they're posing like it's clever and that they're unaware of Sauron, yet several people know he's Sauron, and they for whatever reason can't pass the word around. This whole plot would have been over, a long time ago. So it's just, but just be stupid when you enter the room to watch this, and then that's the only way you can have any respect for it.
We'll just rotate around. Rob, what did you think about these episodes? I can't go any further. I don't.
All right,
think.
so I watched episode 4 and I finished it this afternoon. And so with Tom Bombadil. So first of all, Tom Bombadil was actually a doll that J.R. Tolkien's daughter had, and he decided to make him a character in Lord of the Rings. And he appears in chapter 7 in the house of Tom Bombadil. And basically, it's while the hobbits are on the way to Bree, they stop there. He wasn't put into movies because it just would have made it even longer because it's a long scene. But the importance of Tom Bombadil was that Frodo gave him the ring and he tried it on and he didn't disappear. It had no effect on him. So there's always been speculation that he's been some sort of god. And they played a little bit on that in this story, that he was there before the trees and the wind and the desert and everything else. His hospitality towards the wizard, which we don't know if it's Saruman or Gandalf, was similar to the book a little bit, and kind of his knowledge of the trees and everything else was that. But yeah, he was kind of a Jacob-like character. Nimcock. Now, this episode had a couple of decent action scenes. There's an action scene where they fight some undead, which was kind of cool and kind of interesting how they got out of it and were able to defeat them by digging up their buried swords to be able to kill them. That was kind of interesting. And then there was like a mud worm they fought at one point, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting, kind of gave you a Dungeons and Dragons type vibe. But those were the only two good scenes. The ending of this episode was complete garbage. Basically, they run into a whole army of orcs that are going through elvish lands, and they've got to get back to the main high king elf to let him know not to go to Mordor because they're not there. And Galadriel's like, I'll hold them off. You go. And she gives Elrond the ring, and her be the baddest of bad, the bestest ever. Just taking out these orcs until they finally overwhelm her and capture her. And Elrond's watching from a distance, and they're like, oh, she's so brave. She saved us. And Elrond's looking at them. No, she didn't save us. She saved the ring. And
what? You can't win with Elrond.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. He's really mad at her,
Yeah, he's
He
mad at her.
really is. He's
Well,
bitchy.
back in high school, she agreed to be his date to the prom, and she stood him up, and he's never gotten
And ever since then, it's like, boy, if that bitch ever gets a ring of power, am I going to give her hell?
Well, guess what?
She's got a ring of power, and she used it to heal one of the elves.
Oh, that's
wow.
right.
Uh-oh.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it has magic properties, but it's
take
evil.
that ring and roll it all the way down to the base.
What?
Take that ring and roll it all the way down to the base. It has magical powers.
Oh man.
Well, anything else on this shit?
Not really. I mean,
it sounds like there's not a whole fuck of a
actually-
lot going on.
Yeah, the storylines are okay. Tom Bombadil says that another wizard visited him. And it was the evil wizard, but there's no more about this evil wizard that's in the cave. And then the guys in masks show up to the other Hobbit place and go, "Hey, do you know why we wear these masks? Because of the wizard." And I'm like sitting there thinking about what Doomcock said a couple weeks ago. It was like, "You're wearing a metal mask in a desert." Brilliant idea. Yes, great. Good for the skin, especially around the face.
Our faces are all burned and scarred. It's like, no shit. Isn't that copper?
They hotbox their faces.
Yeah, I heard that the viewership's going way down on this. Does anybody have the number on that?
Well,
has anybody had any new numbers? I understand that already it started out like they lost half of the fucking audience, and it's just going down. It is not a big success.
I heard even the bots self-deleted.
Honestly, I think the majority of the audiences are just YouTubers who use it to review it.
I think that might be true. Osaka Chanda, what is your take on this last episode or two with Tom Bombadil and all this shit?
I thought it was stupid. He really doesn't belong in it. But one part actually did make me laugh. It's like when the female elf, the blonde one who's, I guess, trying to be Galadriel. I have no idea who she is. She wasn't in the books. They just threw her into the show. And it looks like she's like flirting with Sauron. She puts the ring on and she turns invisible. And then it's supposed to cause chaos in the workshop. All of a sudden, a giant anvil falls from the sky, like Looney Tunes style. That part made me
What the fuck?
Wile E. Coyote's in this one.
Did it say
I don't
Acme?
I don't understand. So she goes invisible and she lifts an anvil and drops it?
Apparently, it was already up there in the sky. It was tied up on the ceiling, but no one saw it. And I guess she tripped or something, and it cut the magical rope, and it went falling down. And it's just
Get out of here!
waiting for Wile E. Coyote to show up.
That didn't happen. Is that real?
Yeah, stuff was falling down. I didn't really catch it, but yeah, that she describes as that's right.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, there's something that she shoots a lantern or something, and it falls down and blows up on some orb.
Yeah, it was pretty much you ever play the game Mousetrap? And you're not something else. It was like that in a really short scene. It was like, what the hell am I watching?
I was wondering, is that like a counterweight for stage props or something, that it was actually not part of the show, it was an actual accident?
Hey, that worked out great.
I have no idea, but it was just it just came out of nowhere and almost squished the elf guy. I can't remember his name now.
Man,
Lord of the Rings is going vaudeville.
Yeah, it almost squishes him. So it's just it was so Looney Tunes style. I was like, what is this?
Why I oughta?
Did anybody hear a whistle when it was falling? Like a whistle, like the bomb whistle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was written by M. Night Shyamalan. Like this is Signs 2, The Rings of Power, where it's oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was elves. I thought an alien was going to come through here and shit. I'm going to have to lift that fucking thing all the way back up to the ceiling. Thanks. This is Celebrimbor. What was it, Celebrimbor's workshop or where
it was his workshop, and it's only held by one rope, and it's all the way up there. It's like, who's the genius who decides, oh, this is a good place to put a humongous anvil, just tie it up here to the ceiling near the fan?
Wow. Coyote working in that workshop.
He comes plummeting down, and he goes, where's that fucking elf? Damocles! Damocles!
I was going to say, were there any Acme crates in the background?
It probably was. Who knows?
Yeah.
He ordered all of his supplies for baking rings from Acme.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
I forgot to mention one other thing in episode 4.
Yeah.
More of the Ents. The Ents are back, and there's a female Ent. The Ent wives.
Great. Now the elves are going to move into an ent and start making cookies.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and her husband, the other ent, is like, why are those elves keep going inside you, Mildred? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. That's kind of bad.
Oh, come on,
Bad.
everybody loves
So what does she have like a
she's got only
rod?
ents.
What is it made of? I'm just wondering. I don't know. I don't know how ent underwear works. How do you tell a female ent?
You're
how did
barking
you
up
know?
the wrong tree.
Maybe the males have longer stems.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Some ents you just can't tell the difference, right? Dylan Mulvaney, that's right.
I was going to say, does the female ants identify as a female ant?
That's
Maybe.
very important.
That's Dylan Mulberry.
Well, the male ants have walnuts.
You pick them up in a bar, but then they leave you in the larch.
Oh.
It's like, you're not trans, are you? And it says Mayberry, it's like,
I think we just came up with a better season, haven't we?
I know, right?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
taking notes. They're taking notes
Oh,
right now. They're
yeah,
like, this is
exactly.
That
really
would definitely
good.
explain all
Yeah.
the product placement of Bud Light.
Exactly.
We can get Dylan really cheap right now. We can.
Hell, Doug, they got to drink something on that.
Man, that was tough. We almost got eaten by that swamp worm.
Yeah.
Hey, let's kick a few back here. Yeah,
What's that smell? Ugh. Oy.
so,
That was not Gandalf farting again.
oh no. So any other details from this horrible
I guess with the dwarves, I was watching that, and the subtle messaging is that if only the men of the dwarf community had listened to the women, they wouldn't have fallen under the sway of the ring, because that appears to be the subtle message there, because they have singing powers. And what's her name? Disa sings again to an empty cave and realizes there's something evil beneath the dwarf kingdom, which I assume is Balrog. And if they keep digging, as the ring is prompting them to do, they'll release this ultimate evil. And of course, they won't listen to her because she's a woman. So
she sings at walls. She sings at walls.
Right.
I mean, even Miss Cleo had a fucking crystal ball, for God's sakes.
This crystal balls.
Daffy
That's the other-
Broad's power is singing at a blank wall, and she says, "Oh, I sense evil." Really?
She also had a toll-free number too.
Speaking of crystal balls, she literally chases a crystal ball around the marketplace.
Oh, that's right.
In the same
I
comical
saw that in
relief
the preview.
as Looney Tunes, to only pick it up and drop it and break it by the lake before she sings at the walls again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. None of this is Tolkien. I mean, this is just, I don't know what the. Wow.
So glad
Well,
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
So glad.
Bro,
Yeah,
there's no
absolutely.
fan that you could be on the planet to like any of this garbage.
No.
Like there aren't even fans of this right now, based upon the numbers.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Because anyone
there
with any
anything-
kind of, it's kind of like it's respectability, right? It's like those of us that are Star Trek fans, unless our overlord makes us, are any of us watching this new Trek garbage? No.
Fuck
We're not
no,
watching it because
no,
we're
no.
fans. We're watching it for maybe, part of battling the culture war. But even this is so bad, there's not even any point there's no, I just can't believe the money they're spent on this thing, Doomcock. The hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that they're just burning through. It's just astounding to me.
That's the amazing thing about it. It's just another bizarre example of this era we're in, where you're just literally burning mountains of money.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
Studio might start making movies. I don't know.
This is why the parks are doing so bad, because they're sucking all the money from the parks to make this garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
That's
other thing
true.
about it is that they don't read the source material and they don't have appreciation for what came before all the media that we watch today is books and good quality books and good stories. That's where, people get and create a lot of things based upon the books and based upon this stuff. Our whole D&D lore came from a lot of these types of books. A lot of other things are spun off because you read books and classic literature. Folks, don't get rid of your classic literature. Get it in paper form and keep it, because this is solid. This is stuff you can always go back to. And this is stuff, if you're a writer, that you should use as a reference guide to help you with your creation.
Yeah, Robert,
Well, but the thing-
you're right, but it's not about them not reading the books. That's their goal, is to make something that they claim is better than the book. They're not trying to make something like that's faithful to what they consider garbage before them. You know what I mean? Like that's admitting to that J.R.R. Tolkien's better than them and better than their product, which of course he is, but they don't care about that. It's not like they're making that mistake, Robert. They're actively, I would say, not reading that book, because what they do is better, and that's part of the whole narrative anyway. That's been consistent throughout all of the destruction of all these massive IPs. That's been the main consistent thing, is the disregard and disrespect of what's been before, and making everybody think that, well, what we're doing is better. And it's the opposite.
You're right, Gary. You're right. But in this case, I'm told that they can't use the source material. That too. They've only licensed a few pages of an appendix of the Silmarillion, is from what I understand. I mean, somebody told me this literally, and I was like, seriously? And it's like,
Return of the King. All they have is the appendices in Return of the King.
Well, they're bringing in characters from the books. I mean, there's a whole chapter on Tom Bombadil.
Well,
right.
And understand the character if you're going to bring him into the story,
But Tom Bombadil's all wrong. I mean, they're having to make up what Tom Bombadil is because he's all wrong.
Right.
Because they can't use. I think there's some kind of weird, Kurtzman trick bullshit going on here. Where it has to be a certain amount of percentage different. It can't
It's
tie
25% different.
Yeah, it can't tie into the movies. It can't tie into the movies. They can't use the same designs and shit.
So that means it's 25% different.
Yeah,
that's right. And Gary's absolutely correct. Yeah. Well, there you go. But no, Gary's absolutely right. I mean, the point is cultural destruction, and everything he said is absolutely true. But in this case, it's even worse than that. Like they couldn't even use it if they wanted to. There's very specifically licensed what they can do, what they can't do, and it's very fucked up. It's very.
Did we ever get a real answer as to why they didn't fully license the show or the movies or anything? The book?
So it would have cost them. Yeah. I think they paid $250 million for what they got, and if they'd have tried to license the whole fucking thing, it would have been like $750 million.
And remember, the licensing for this thing has been broken up into multiple pieces over the years, whether that's at Warner Brothers or there's the game. It's the licensing for this thing has been broken up apart into 100 million pieces.
All they wanted to do was buy a brand name and figured they could just slap job a show on that. And that would be it.
Yeah.
That's the rinse
that
level
makes sense.
template they keep doing with all of these brands. And that's what they did at a ginormous cost. And it was sheer idiocy, but they did it anyway. And here they are.
Yep.
Plus, Tolkien's mistake was being born white and male. And
I know.
Being Catholic.
So
I've made that mistake too, Doug.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't we all? See?
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here with my new company, DEI Latinx International. I'm here to collect reparations from all you mofos.
I just mailed you a check.
Yeah.
Taka gets off. She's okay. She gets a pass. But all you, everybody else on this panel, let's go. And no check. Credit card only, or Zelle or Quick Pay.
I think
Well,
I got to roll a
congratulations,
quarter
Mike.
around
We're
it.
going to pay you in episodes of Agatha all along.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
think one of the biggest issues with like both Amazon and Disney is they forget how to be creative and imaginative and to create things on their own. Stop trying to take other brands that already pre-exist, that already have a natural fan base or IP or whatever. Create something original. You know, people want good storytelling. They want escapism. They don't want to be reminded about how miserable real life is. They want to be entertained. They want something that they can believe and see themselves as, not a representation of themselves. They want something better, you know, something to strive for, something to hope for, whether it be a positive message about family, love, or just plain old superheroes saving the day. But they want good storytelling, not messages, not political correctness or whatever about politics to make you miserable. You know, they want
No, that's absolutely right.
something to dream about and to believe in. So
But
that's
the
what these-
woke actually do want to see themselves on screen, and that's all they want.
Yeah.
Whereas normal people want to see something different, something more interesting, something, you know, that opens up a different perspective on the world. You know,
Well, that's why when they go to the red carpet, all they keep asking is, "So, is this the gayest show ever?" Like,
yeah.
like no, ask
That's
me something
exactly
about
right.
this show.
Yeah.
I'd
And
have to say,
Osaka,
yeah.
you said they forgot how to tell good stories. They never knew.
No.
Yeah,
They never knew. You know, really,
Yeah.
the way that this gets fixed is absolute termination of everyone who's in charge and replacement.
Mhm.
With who, I don't know, because there are few and far between artists in this world.
Fans.
that's
So-
YouTubers. No, with,
Yeah, that's
with
it.
Overlord.
At one
Overlord
point,
DVD.
it wouldn't be so insane to consider some of them.
That's true. That's very, very true. But
I think we should
sanity
put
is
Harvey
on short
Cthulhu
supply.
in charge.
Yeah. Oh, Harvey would love that. God dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the whole world transformed into OnlyFans and pizza and beer places. What it would be. Oh, fucking Harvey.
Boy,
Son
that
of a
would
bitch.
destroy the universe, wouldn't it?
He would
It
love
would.
Japan because there's
Yeah, it
tentacle
would.
stuff all over the place.
Oh, I know it would. I know.
Oh,
Doomcock,
I wanna-
remind me to tell you about the new trend in OnlyFans. I'll have to do it after the show because it's a little questionable, but it's very,
Oh,
very
God.
funny.
Okay. don't forget to tell me. JRC99 US, New Trek is not Star Trek. Before we go to super chats, can you give us a little bit of perspective on well, I know what you mean by that, but just for people who aren't watching any more of this shit, I don't watch this new Trek shit anymore. Not even to review it. It's just beneath contempt. But anything you want to say about it, and especially in regards to the Orville, feel free.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Well, I to give a brief history of myself, I've been a Trekkie since I was 6 years old. That's when, and this is probably showing my age a little bit, either young or old. That was 1987 when TNG came out, and I was a loyal Star Trek fan for many years. I went to Star Trek Experience, everything like that. But the one thing that the original 5 series gave us was always kind of the hopeful future. Yes, there's going to be some dark elements, and I know about that. Some of the writers kind of overrode Gene's view of the utopian future, but it added it back to where even in the darkest times there was always kind of a glimmer of light. But Star Trek has been a big influence in my life from my I'm actually an aviation technician. That came from that, stemmed from that. I'm also looking into possibly soon, maybe looking at a job at NASA. But it really inspired me to look in. I love aeronautics, science, philosophy, and everything like that. And a lot of that has to stem from Star Trek. I have to give credit where credit's due. But when it came to the new Trek, I watched the first episode of Discovery, and yes, huge disappointment. And I was like, what am I watching here? But it actually does go back to not to promote my own channel, but I did do a review of Star Trek 2009 years and years ago, and I tried to like it, but there was just something wrong with it. And when I saw Picard season 1, it really like put into perspective how much I loathe New Trek, and New Trek is anything 2009 to present. And what it does is that it's like what we were talking about with Rings of Power. You slap something on, you slap an IP name on something like that and expect people to accept it like that. But as we all know, we can't do that. But when the Orville came out, holy moly, talk about a breath of fresh air. I remember watching the first episode, Old Wounds, and I remember smiling. Like I had this big smile, like ear to ear grin. And I literally said to myself, I'm watching TNG again. It felt like I was watching TNG. And Seth MacFarlane did a fantastic job with the Orville. I am totally 100% behind the season 4, which it looks like it may be in the works. And but Orville definitely, or Seth MacFarlane, he has been also a Trekkie for a long time in his life. He's done cosplay. He's actually been on 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise. He was part of the engineering crew. And so this guy, he knows what Star Trek is, and he took that formula. And you even get Star Trek alumnus in the Orville, and I highly recommend everybody watch the Orville. It's great. So there we go.
No, well said. And what did you think of Picard season 3? Did you fall for it?
Boy, funny you mentioned that. I did review because I was actually dared to watch it. Even though I canceled CBS All Access after season 1 was all finished. And they actually they asked, why are you canceling your free All Access? This was back in 2020. So CBS All Access gave a free month of service. And they said, why are you canceling your free service? I'm like, and I literally typed in the other box, you ruined the legacy of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and canceled. And
excellent. Yes.
And when I saw season 3, or when I heard about season 3, I was with you, Doomcock, that I wasn't going to watch it. But then I have, many friends on X and formerly Twitter. And one of them said, you can't really say, you should really watch it because it's not fair. And I'm like going, okay, look, if I can get free access, I'm not going to pay to watch a Star Trek TV show because first of all, Star Trek has never been a paid show. It was always free on TV on the air. And so I was finally given access. And I'm like going, okay, somebody dared me to do it. I watched it and I was thoroughly disappointed because the one thing was that I don't want to take up too much time, but
no, it's your spotlight, man. Come on.
Oh, cool. All right. So the thing is that it ties everything back to season 1, and season 1 was absolutely atrocious. I never saw season 2, but from the reviews I saw, it was like 10 times worse than the first one. And then we get season 3. And the biggest thing that gave me a problem was that when I saw the trailer, at first it was unprecedented that they released the season 3 trailer in the middle of season 2. So that was like a little iffy. And I actually got into an argument with Terry Metalis on X because he was calling some of my friends on there that they were stupid incels, trolls. I even have receipts of those. In fact, I did a review of Star Trek season 3. First of all, if anybody sees my review, I apologize for the volume. I had problems with that. I'll try to re-release it with better volume. But I have the receipts of that, and even Terry Metalis called me stupid for not liking something that he made. And all I was saying was like, dude, if you're a real Star Trek fan or a Trekkie, you would have said something along the lines of, hey, look, I know you guys really didn't like season 1 and 2, but I think I really captured our love for Star Trek. Please give me a chance. If he would have said something like that, I probably would have given him a better sporting chance. But no, he got really triggered by everybody's review of season 3. And then when I watched it, it was everything that I thought it would be. It was member berries on top of member berries to try to remind people that you're watching a Star Trek show. Because if they didn't have those member berries, I'm sure everybody would be like, what am I watching? This is not Star Trek. And 90%, I think one of the biggest things that made me was a big turnoff that I considered season 3 the worst was that it actually got real. It got real Trekkies to actually accept something as quote unquote Star Trek, because of reasons that I still haven't figured out. I mean, there was other guys. I mean, Doomcock, I know you were, stay true to the end and everything like that.
Damn right.
Yeah, exactly.
You were scaring me for a minute because when you were doing the wind up, if you had liked Picard season 3, you'd have been out on your fucking ass right away. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gone.
You've just been gone. And thank you, JRC99US. Hey, Gary, JRC99US didn't like Terry Metalis, got in an argument with him. Huh.
Hey, join the club.
Yeah. Actually, it was
Fucking
with
asshole.
PJ from Orville Nation. That's when that happened.
Yeah.
But, PJ was being cool. He was cool about it, but
of course he is. He's super cool. Yeah.
he's
PJ's a
awesome.
very cool guy.
Yeah.
But
I
I just have no. Go ahead, Andy.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Boeing has started hiring the people from Discovery?
Well, yeah, they got to make improvements somehow, Andy.
I don't know because Boeing jets still use light bulbs, so you can actually see everything.
Wait till season 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's nimble.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So at least Boeing uses light bulbs. That's what I'm going to say. So
Yeah, you know, they're fucking incompetent, just like Secret Hideout. You know, I mean, if Secret Hideout had actually pitched the original Star Trek series instead of wagon train to the stars, it would have been wagon sled. You know, they would have been incapable of wheels on the fucking thing. Well,
Hey,
yeah,
Cole.
it's a wagon sled to the stars. You know.
I think one of the funniest things. I'm sorry, real quick. I think one of the funniest things is when the final episode of season 3 came out, which was actually the entire show. Like 90% of it was like not even the show. You get up to the kind of the climax of episode 10, and they. Am I allowed to do spoilers? I know it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Just making sure. But I was going to say first episode 9, the very end, the Enterprise D is back. They walk on the bridge, and it was so funny because they had all the lights on as the same lighting from TNG, but then all the original crew walks in, and they're all like in black leather and stuff, and they like stood out like a sore thumb. And then episode 10, immediately they dimmed the lights in the Enterprise D bridge. Like,
Yeah.
why?
The Blue Oyster Bridge.
Quick tango contest.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So-
like if you took the characters from the Matrix and made them walk into like a bright room or something like that. It was like, what? You know?
That little
I
piss
think
hand is so
Robert wants to say
stupid.
something.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I wanted to make another point about that with Metalis and everything. Have you noticed that when we get good quality stuff, usually the creators and the people behind it are very humble. They're very welcoming to fans. They're very much, receptive to fan reaction, good or bad, and they've got a sense of humility. The other issue with these woke people and these people, they have humongous egos, and it's all about them, and it's all about seeing themselves in everything they do, and they get so mad because you're not appreciating them.
Yes, and if you watch the series and a planet is named after the showrunner, he's an egomaniac.
Yes.
Yep. I actually dubbed him as Memberberry Terry Metalis Prime.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hated every minute of it. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing. I couldn't fucking stand it, but I watched a couple episodes and then the finale, and
The
just
Death Star run?
garbage, just pure. Yeah, the Death Star run inside the Borg cube, like only Data could push the buttons on the left and right and center, like little toggles fast enough to zoom around the spacious interior of the Borg cube. It's just
He looked like he was trying to. I'm sorry. He looked like he was trying to play a drum solo.
Awful.
He was trying to play a drum
I-
solo. He's like crossing hands and everything. It's like,
Yeah. I fucking hate this shit, and I could not believe all the like fucking shills that were just falling over themselves to praise this garbage. It was totally all wrong. Had they ever watched an episode of The Next Generation? Had they ever?
No.
Fucking yesterday's Enterprise was more colorful than this Metalis Picard season 3, and they were at war with the Klingons and dying. You know what I'm
and it
saying?
wasn't even the right timeline. It was an alternate timeline too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking
so-
We
hell.
know why they supported him, because they got the little gift bags.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were invited to the premiere.
Yeah.
Why
Meant
were
to
those-
feel special.
Yeah, but why were the
Oh,
little gift bags all wrinkly? They look like. No, no, no.
I have a question
Well,
for
it was from
JR.
the Scrotums R Us store. Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
got 'em used.
Osaka Chandal.
So I love the Orville, and I was surprised to hear when the girl who plays the ex-wife of the captain,
Yes.
that she got married to the guy who plays his best friend, the redheaded guy. I forget his name too.
Yeah. Scott Grimes, Adrian
Yeah.
Palicki.
And then they got divorced right away. So
Oh,
they're going to be
shit,
filming
really?
a fourth season. Are they both coming back to the show? Is that going to affect the cast?
So from what I've heard is that Adrian Palicki, who played Kelly, was almost kind of hinting that she didn't want to return.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it yeah, it definitely will be the awkward silence in the room if that happens. But I honestly, we're just waiting to hear the official. As far as I know, from right now, we're just waiting for the official word from Seth to say like, "Hey, we're green lighting this and we're ready to go." And I'm sure everybody will be great. It was Scott
Actually,
Grimes.
PJ is in the chat, or was. So,
Yeah.
PJ, do you know anything? Can you spill anything, PJ? An anxious nation awaits Orville season 4.
Yes.
And the other question is, the girl who originally played the alien that was super, super strong, the one who's dating Seth,
Yes.
will she be returning to the show? Because I loved her character, and I was so sad when she went away. So when they brought her back for the last season, I was so happy to see her.
Well, she did make a cameo appearance in the final episode of season 3, which was really cool. I'm sure I'm sure there'll be a return of I'm sorry, her name is like blanking out on me, but but I would like to think so. I mean, they brought in a new character who played her name was Charlie, and it kind of seemed like Seth was maybe playing the season 4 from season 3, because it looked like there was a lot of like, I wouldn't say plot holes, but at least kind of like open-ended like endings to where there's a lot of possibilities for an episode season 4.
Seth said during one of the cons, he said during it, he made season 3 the way it was because he was afraid that if the Mouse House was to take over, because he knows they own Hulu, and if they were to take over his show and he wasn't going to have rights, he wanted to make sure that the main storylines had the happy ending that he wanted them to have. So that's why he had the doctor get married, why he made the child who was made into a boy and then she went back to being a girl. Like he made it that way. And also he wanted to pay respect to Dolly Parton, so he had her return. So he did a lot of things because he didn't want the corruption of the Mouse House to get to him.
Oh, absolutely. Seth, I have a lot of respect for from the stories I've heard is that Seth was originally, before Discovery came out, he went to CBS Paramount to pitch a new Star Trek series for television, and CBS told him to go pound sand. So, and the thing is that Seth went back to Fox to pitch his version of a Star Trek show. But the interesting thing was that, and this is what I've heard from, and I'm sure PJ could probably confirm this, is that Fox didn't want to make the show originally because they knew him as Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy. So he's supposed to make funny shows. So that's why if you look at the first two, especially the first season, there's a lot more comedy in it because it was supposed to be originally a parody of Star Trek, but then officially, well, honestly became more Star Trek. Although I don't really want to kind of mush them together because I know Seth is a creative genius and he knew how to make a great piece of work, a piece of art.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have update. Orville Nation says Scott and Adrian are friends, so it should not be an issue. Osaka Chandal. And he confirms what I had heard and reported on is that Orville season 4 is a go, according to Seth himself. So that's what they're saying, and that's where we are. So I can't wait. I am loving. I love the Orville. I thought it was great, and I can't wait.
I think when it came out, the timing of a lot of those episodes in that last season, people had a lot of reactive political reactions because of the time, you know, in the backdrop. But TV shows are supposed to make us think.
Yeah.
You know, they're supposed to make us think, and they're supposed to make us reflect, and you know, they're supposed to have that storytelling that gets us to reflect on life, on the world we live in, etc. So I'm looking forward to it, Doomcock. I really am.
Yep.
That's
And also,
Yeah, I am too.
yeah. Also, Mrs. JRC 99 US is looking forward to it too. I started watching or started binge watching the Orville again, and she came in the living room and was like, "Is this the Orville you've been talking about?" Yeah. And she's like, "Can I watch with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sit down." She absolutely loved it from season 1 to 3, and she is looking forward to season 4 as well.
Does she play games? Because if so, Steam has a Orville game where you can design your own character and you can act like you're like a member of the crew.
You know,
So
I
you can
heard
go
about
around
that. I
fixing
didn't
the
realize.
ship and it's
Yeah.
fun. So she might like it. It's
Okay.
it's not like a big shooter game or anything like that. It's just like kind of like The Sims, but on the Orville.
Okay. I definitely will talk to her about that. And yeah, but just to let you know, this whole house, the JRC 99 household is all Orville. So
All right. Well, that is good news. Let's go ahead and get to some more super chats, and then let's move on to Total Recall. And we will be bringing on Stark of Iron, and I just sent you the invite, Stark of Iron. Let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats. All right, folks, and again, I'm having technical difficulties with a different browser setup, so I can't put up the chat, unfortunately, but I'll solve this before Friday Night Frolics. You bet I will. All right, let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats here. Michael Beacom with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Michael Beacom. He says, movie recommendation, The Killer's Game. Dave Bautista proves he can carry action film as lead, trying not to be woke. Example, Terry Crews' introduction shot is him surrounded by half-nude hookers. Ah, well, sounds like my kind of movie. All right. Thank you, Michael Beacom, and cheers, brother. That is some good news. Good news for all red-blooded Americans out there, wherever you may be in this great nation of ours. Jack White with 3 $10 super chats and a $2 super chat all in a row. I'm going to go ahead and read them all, Jack, for you, buddy. And Jack White, I think they're all related, actually, so it's kind of one big super chat. Thank you, Jack. Jack White says, the interesting thing about this gay witch stuff is that the witch trials started because of these very straight but ugly, masculine, manly-looking women who were extremely narcissistic. And because of that, they deluded themselves into thinking they were these great catches when in reality, no man in their right mind was going to touch them with an 80-foot pole. And obviously, no man hooked up with them. And as a result, they got old and were lonely. And so because of that, they were miserable and they were nasty to people. They would go around cursing people. And I don't mean naughty words kind of cursing. Well, but that's presupposing that it was real, Jack. I'm not convinced of that. I'm not convinced of that. In fact, there was a lot of delusions and craziness around, the witch hunting craze. Historically, I think it had to do with ergot or like some hallucinogens that had grown in the grain or something like a fungus, and had people like seeing shit, and rumors were getting started and all this stuff. I mean, there might have been some real witches somewhere, maybe, I don't know, but I know that a lot of innocent people also kind of, got screwed on this deal. But history is not my strong point. That's just what I've heard. Take it with a grain of salt. Trevin Lane with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Trevin Lane. Says TV series recommendation, Transformers Prime has one of the best depictions of Megatron and Optimus ever put on screen. Outstanding show, if a bit rushed at the end. No shit. Wow. Have any of you guys seen Transformers Prime? Any Transformers fans on the panel?
I've seen a few episodes, and it wasn't too bad. I still am a huge G1 fan because that's what I grew up with. So, but yeah, it's okay. It's decent.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you very much for the tip. And hail to Trevin Lane. I guess I'll take a look at it, dude. And Trevin Lane also says with a $20 super chat, what a great guy. Hail to Trevin Lane. Thank you, my friend. He says, I can see AI being used for rough drafts and background animation, heavily speeding up writing and doing a lot of grunt work that is a big part of creative work. It is going to be a thing no matter what we would want. And the ants will inherit the earth, as Edward Albee wrote in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. I mean, that's kind of how I feel, you know? It's just sad. I mean, you know, you can judge a civilization by the quality of its art. And our art is just going straight to fucking shit. You know, honestly, it breaks my heart. It really does. I care about this stuff, folks. That's why I have this channel. That's why I started this channel, was all the degradations and horrible shit that was being done to my beloved fucking Star Trek. And, you know, I care about this shit. I'm passionate about it. That's what all these like detractors that try to label me as all of these fucking things. They never watch my videos. They don't have a fucking clue what I'm about. But I'll tell you what I'm about is loving the shit that I love. Loving great art, loving great films, great television shows, great narratives, great books. I love fucking art because it uplifts and it inspires. And coincidentally, it also kind of acts as a indicator of the values of that society that created that art, you know, out of which the art arose. It's like our oral traditions if we were a primitive tribe. It's kind of the story of us. It tells what we cared about, what we valued. We valued Captain Kirk's heroism. You know, we valued Spock's wisdom and intelligence. We valued McCoy's compassion. You know, all of these like characters and stories are reflections of the best of us. And when we transmit that to our kids, we're having continuity of our values, of our culture. And that is what's being squandered and destroyed. And it fucking pisses me off. And it makes me just livid. So that is what my channel is about. That's what I care about. And AI is just another kind of, you know, it's another Kurtzman. It's another KK. You know, I mean, the only difference is in talented hands, AI could be used to craft wonderful things, as has been pointed out on the panel. But in terrible hands, it could just mire us in more bullshit and mediocrity and trash. And there's enough of that in the world. Christ almighty. Jeff C. with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Jeff C. Says, a wise voice actor once said, the difference between voice actors and AI is that AI never invests in the craft. Yeah. It has no soul. You know, kind of like everything comes out of Disney now these days. It has no soul. It's almost like Disney's a prototype for AI. This makes me sick. Robert Mokel with a $2 super chat, or Moshel, perhaps. Hail Robert. He says, a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Yes. Isn't that the movie or play that has there's no business like show business, or am I mistaken? I know Zero Mostel starred in the film version of it. I don't know. The chat will tell me in a minute, because I know there was a hit song that came out of a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Thank you, Robert Moshel or Mochel. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Robert. My apologies, sir. Sean Carter with a $5 super chat. Hail to the great Sean Carter. He says, unbelievable that James Darren was snubbed in the in memoriam section of the Emmys. Enemies, see? I'm calling them the enemies. It's unbelievable that James Darren was snubbed in the in memoriam section of the Emmys. Reason number 2003 why I no longer care about those award shows. No, I hear you. I hear you, Sean Carter. 110 fucking %, dude. God bless James Darren, and we are very sorry for his passing. Bun Bun 299 with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Bun Bun. Says, I have a headcanon that RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers all take place in the same universe, but different centuries. Cohagen is a descendant of Dick Jones, and mutants became NPH. Yeah, you know, I could see all that actually. They all kind of go together in a certain way. I could definitely see that. Probably Gary Ambrosia will agree with you when we start our review here in just a sec. Michael Beacom with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, regarding Gary, Andy, and the Skull of Calderon, you got to know these things when you're the overlord, you know. It's true, man. It's true. It takes a lot of effort to stay on top of things as the future ruler of Earth. There's always so much shit coming at you all the time. It's tough, man. But I'll tell you what, I always know where my towel is. I always know where my fucking towel is. I tell you that. Dark Saber Force with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Dark Saber Force. Says, some pistachios for Sabu the squirrel. And he is thrilled. Thank you, Dark Saber Force. Sabu loves his pistachios. He loves nuts of all kinds, which is why he hangs out on Friday Night Frolics with us, because there's plenty of nuts there. All right, folks, let's go ahead and let's move to a movie that we love. But before we do, we are joined by a man who loves the movies that we love so much, in this case, Total Recall. Couldn't exclude him from this. So here we got Tony Stark, Stark of Iron. Hail, Tony. How are you? Welcome to the show. Although it says weak or no signal. But, well, hopefully he's here, because we have to move on regardless.
We're closing in on Mars. 1 second. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi,
How
we're
y'all
here.
Tony.
It's good to see you, Tony. Welcome to the show, dude, and glad to have you here. So, without further ado, our show is Total Recall. It's kind of a little bit like Blade Runner meets The Matrix, you know? Blade Runner and this movie were both inspired by Philip K. Dick books or stories, and they both have that kind of, you don't really know what the hell is going on, you know, virtual reality versus real reality. What is real? All these questions are posed by this great movie, which actually also happens to be a great actioner in the proud Arnold Schwarzenegger style. So without further ado, let's go ahead and turn this over to Gary Ambrosia and see what facts he has uncovered about this amazing production.
There was a lot, so I truncated it down a little bit because otherwise we'd be here all night. Ooh, hello.
Oh man! Now Sharon Stone is in this. That's the most important fact.
Yeah.
And her scene with Arnold, where he has one of his greatest lines in history. But go ahead.
I feel like I was made for something more than this. All right, Total Recall. 1 part Blade Runner, 1 part First Blood. Mix in a little 007 and a whole lot of red, and you have one of the greatest ass-kicking sci-fi action blockbusters of all time. Starring the kindergarten cop, the smoking beaver shot lady, that Canadian guy who's always pissed off and making people's heads explode, and one of the Enterprise D crew members with 3 tits. Produced on a produced on a $65 million budget and bringing in over $264 million at the box office during its initial worldwide release. Based upon the novelette We Can Remember It For You Wholesale by Philip K. Dick, which was published in the April issue of the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction in 1966. Alien writers Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett adopted the story into a faithful screenplay. Long before their work on Alien, Ronald Shusett purchased the rights to the story's adaptation for the screen from Philip K. Dick in 1974 for a mere $1,000. Dan O'Bannon's first 2/3 of the screenplay were considered to be great, but the third was very ambitious and even called unfilmable due to its demand for extreme special and visual effects. Just several years after their success with Alien, Ronald Shusett was signed to a development deal with Walt Disney Studios. It was here that Total Recall first went into development with a proposed $20 million budget. However, it lingered for a while, and the production was eventually sold to Dino De Laurentiis in 1982. After talking with many directors, Dino chose David Cronenberg, who was brought in 1984 not only to helm the production, but to fix the problematic third act of the script. Nobody cry when the Jaws die, but people gonna cry when Mars get the blue sky. Cronenberg wrote 12 different drafts, and his contributions, although uncredited, remain in the final film, including the mutant characters and their Martian leader, Quato. After disagreements with the writers and Dino's casting of Richard Dreyfuss as Quaid, David Cronenberg left the production. Can you imagine that, guys?
What?
Wow.
Yes. Can you
Good
imagine that?
Lord.
Yeah. I feel like I was meant for something more than this. What are you waiting for, Cohagen? Turn the thing on. Give these people air.
Strive, just strive.
After
Wait,
the
is that Arnold's
financial,
not stage voice? Sorry.
after the financial failure of De Laurentiis' Dune, the production went into several other incarnations of itself, including a production setting up in Australia with Patrick Swayze starring as Quaid.
Oh, God.
This version of Total Recall was almost made. However, just before filming began, De Laurentiis Entertainment Group filed for bankruptcy in 1988, and the film was shut down. After this, Conan and Terminator star Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was a longtime admirer of the story, decided to step in with a new production company. He convinced Carolco to purchase the production and rights from De Laurentiis Entertainment Group for a mere $3 million. This launched the movie into production in Mexico City. Isn't that wild? Can you imagine Total Recall with Patrick Swayze or, God forbid, Richard Dreyfuss? That would have been bizarre.
Worst idea ever.
Oh yeah,
Can we
they
say thank you
actually.
for Mexico.
What's that?
Can we say thank you for Mexico for
Yes.
allowing them to film
Yes.
there?
You're welcome.
So, apparently in Australia, they had actually built sets and were ready to shoot. And they and De Laurentiis Group filed for bankruptcy, and that was it. Amazing.
And then, Miller came and stripped the set that they left standing down for parts and put it in Road Warrior Mad Max 2. That's probably what happened. He was scavenging everything, right? Everything that wasn't nailed down like a cinematic
This was
Jawa.
87, so that would have already
too
happened. I know.
Damn.
I know. Almost worked. Here we go. Arnie negotiated a $10 million fee. Of course he did. Plus 15 points on the back end, massive creative input, and the ability to choose who directed the film. He chose RoboCop director Paul Verhoeven, who brought most of that film's crew to Total Recall, seeing as the demands were similar, and Verhoeven at that point felt he could trust all of them. The character of Douglas Quaid was retooled to fit Schwarzenegger's more macho, tough guy action hero image, and of course, Verhoeven injected the proper amount of violence for his particular taste. The film was shot on location in Mexico City, primarily for its use of new brutalism architecture, which consisted of cold, gray, concrete, and steel. The production crew worked 7 days a week for 9 to 10 months, filling 10 massive sound stages at Churubusco Studios, with multiple sets on each stage, which would become the Mars colony. 10 sound stages.
Good Lord.
This was the most massive independent project. Carolco was kind of an independent film, but it was like, this was 1 year before Terminator 2. So at the time, this was the biggest production ever made. Independent production ever made. Several practical locations were used, such as the Zocalo Metro subway station and the, correct me if I get the accent wrong here, Mexican Iron Man, Glorieta de los Insurgentes shopping center.
Insurgentes, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Total Recall is one of the last of the great Hollywood films to utilize the old method of optical compositing rather than CGI. With the exception of the skeletal scans from the X-ray machine, the effects were achieved with studio-scale miniatures, which filled a 20,000 square foot soundstage. 200 feet by 100. That's how big the Mars miniature was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
incredibly
Holy crap.
massive.
No wonder it looks so freaking good.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's
Yeah,
massive.
That's a lot.
The sweeping Martian landscape was taken from concept projections directly from NASA from the actual surface of the planet. During a flying wide shot of Quaid on a train, a tiny projector was mounted inside the model train, which projected a shot of Arnie inside the train car onto a tiny train window, giving the illusion that he was inside the miniature. For the rods, for the rods emerging from the atmospheric reactors, a beam splitter was used to create the bright red glow. Similar effects were achieved by use of a beam splitter on Richard Donner's Superman and Star Wars. Hello.
Triple your pleasure, triple
there
your
we
fun.
go. Make me wish I had 3 hands. Frustrated with the concept of the Martian reactors, Paul Verhoeven studied an Art Deco architecture coffee table book. His vision of what it would be like to be inside a nuclear reactor, but with the reactor mechanisms being the size and look of a skyscraper, was close, but still yet unrealized. It was when he tossed the book on the ground and it landed upside down that he was inspired to suspend the giant reactors from the ceiling, thus giving us the final design on camera. How about that? I love the design of those giant reactors, and it was totally a fluke why they were upside down. He said he wanted them to look like actual, New York skyscrapers in the 1930s, but it just didn't look right. It didn't work. There's nothing practical about it. So they turned him upside down when he was inspired by that.
It made it look more alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous award-winning creature and makeup effects designer Rob Bottin was hired to create the Martian mutant humans as well as the biomechanical disguise for Quaid. Bottin had previously worked with Verhoeven on RoboCop, designing the film's title character. The most intricate effect of Total Recall was Quato, the Martian underground leader. The creature was operated by 15 off-camera puppeteers. Some of the crew actually did think that the infantile monster hanging off of actor Marshall Bell's chest was in fact a little person actor. Rob Bottin and his crew were given in advance a Special Achievement Academy Award for their innovative work on Total Recall. So they called the crew ahead of the award ceremony. They said, "We're going to give you a Special Achievement Award, Academy Award." They already knew they were going to win because of this was the pinnacle of effects at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There was no more innovative or greater effects film than this one at the time.
Damn. Yeah.
God Emperor of the motion picture score, Jerry Goldsmith composes one of his best for Total Recall. He cites that the score is experimental and uses many synthesized arrangements to accompany the traditional orchestra. It's an amazing score. If you guys haven't heard it and you're into movie scores, man, it is one of the best.
And here we have Tom Connor's ex-wife.
Either that or future wife. My final note, the American crew members were not used to the biological conditions in Mexico City. Many of them were stricken immediately with Montezuma's revenge. Schwarzenegger insisted on flying in his own food, water, and a private chef. An ambulance was on standby for director Paul Verhoeven, who became extremely ill while having to continue to direct the film. Unit production manager Elliot Schick had to be medevaced offset due to the horrific condition of the air in Mexico. His coughing fits got so bad, his eyes began to bulge out of his skull.
Oh, what?
Perhaps
was
this
real.
incident was the inspiration for the climax of the film. This
That's a joke.
That's real. That actually happened to the guy. Yes, he was so.
What?
Yeah, I know that was the weirdest note I had. This guy, the unit production manager, Elliot Schick, is like one of the toughest guys in Hollywood. He was not used to the conditions, and he got into this coughing fit. He was coughing so bad, his eyes started to actually emerge from his eye sockets, and they had to medevac him out.
God.
Yeah, that was according to the production designer.
Didn't a similar thing happen to the father from the Addams Family?
I
What's
don't
his
know.
name?
I don't know.
Raul Julia?
Raul Julia. When he was filming it, this is when he was fighting his cancer. People didn't know he had.
Oh.
He got into a coughing fit, and it actually made one of his eyeballs kind of like pop out of the socket.
Oh my
It can
God.
happen.
And
Yeah.
he had to push it back in, and he finished the scene, and then they took him to the hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Well, anyway, this movie is so incredible. The look, the lighting, the story. You never know what's going on. Is it a dream? Is it reality? It's totally ambiguous at the end. There's the unit production manager right there. Good thing he had
tacos.
the medevac. So, but I saw this movie when I was 10 years old when it came out in the theater, and I just, oh man, it was so great. It was so violent too. It was so violent, but I think it's great. I really, truly love this movie, not just for its story, but for its visual effects. I certainly appreciate it. If you guys haven't seen this movie, boy, you are missing out. One thing I noticed today is I thought it's really eerily similar how close Velos Cohagen is to Gavin Newsom. They look very similar, and they have similar policies too.
Yeah.
little political trauma out there in California there, buddy.
Oh, dude, it's so rough. Like people are calling Gavin up. They're like, sir, the Californians need more energy. And he's like, fuck them. Just like the movie. But yeah, this movie's fantastic, you guys. It's one of Arnie's best. He credits it as really solidifying his massive career. And this was he put everything on the line for this movie. He was the one who actively pursued the script. He's the one who got himself involved. He's the one who found the producers and saved it from total obscurity and being shut down. And he ran with it and he reaped the rewards of it. So, good on him.
I think I can say, yeah, I think I can say on behalf of like everyone who's ever seen it, it's one of those movies that you never forget. Like you always remember a part of it. Like whether it be the chick with the 3 boobs or when he takes the big head off or even when their eyeballs are coming out and everything. But it's still something that you never forget. You like when you even hear about Total Recall, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And you don't see many films like that of today that gives you that same kind of reaction Total Recall did when you first watched it.
Right.
That's very, very true. Robert Wright, what do you think of this movie? And was he in a delusion? Like when he shot the guy in the head, was he doomed? Is all this a fantasy, or what do you think?
I love this movie, and no, I think the story explains himself. He really was a secret agent all along, and he becomes Quaid at the end instead of
I don't know.
So, and I always thought of a sequel to where he has a delusion where he part of Hauser's trying to fight back and regain his body as a sequel to this. But no, this movie is excellent. So I got this DVD that has both it and Terminator 2 on it. It's got 2 movies in it. And that the cool thing about it is that you really see the transition of special effects between these 2 movies. Both were groundbreaking when they came out. But this movie shows why practical effects still need to be used, and the scenery and the action and the story is just fantastic. One of the things I love about this movie is the pacing. It's always boom, boom, boom. There's always something going on. There's always a next scene and another thing that you got to find out, and it keeps you engaged in the story and engaged in the character. I love just seeing Mars and different aspects of Mars, because I always dreamed of going to Mars as a kid. And so that really instantly drew me to wanting to see this in the theater. And I'm so glad my parents took me. it has a lot of violence, but the violence is part of it, and it's just really cool action. Guys, if you haven't seen this movie and you love movies, especially Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, go see this one. It also has some great lines. See you at the party, Richter. And a couple other ones that are just hilarious by Arnold. He always has his input on his one-liners. One other thing about the Mexico thing, Gary, Arnold Schwarzenegger learned to bring his own food and his own stuff because they filmed Predator a few years earlier in Mexico, and a whole bunch of people got sick on the set of Predator as well. And so Arnold knew that if they filmed in Mexico, he needed to do something so he wouldn't get sick. So,
Well, then wisdom gained. Our own Doug Nelson has got to take his leave of us, so we're going to go to him next. Doug, what do you think about this movie?
It was all right. No, this is I don't think it's going too far to say it's a classic. And it's true, like Ahsoka's saying, on all the different scenes in it, you never forget, and that's a testament to its achievements there, and also a very clever move on of Schwarzenegger's points to pursue something like this, and it was quite fitting. And in fact, of course, Terminator is his main character he was born to play, and that sort of thing. But man, I tell you, Total Recall is pretty close on its heels to be his best film. And if ever there was a film to where you could picture Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Hitchcock film, this is probably it in a lot of ways, because of the strange mystery and all that stuff that he's daunted with in it. And about the scene, is he really doomed into a fantasy world? Well, not too bad of a fantasy world. But right? I think the interesting twist to it is that the fictional Douglas Quaid, and us Dougs got to stick together, it wins out overall, because the original man was this evil bastard. And that's the interesting twist I take from it, is that, his own evil plot backfired on him tremendously, to where this made up guy takes over. And it just goes to show, you see, you can change. and so he wins out in the end. But just brilliant all around, and just the combination. And I see it as quite cerebral in a lot of ways. A lot of people says, Arnold, he's action and all that stuff. And it's like, but this was a step above quite a bit of that. And so it's a brilliant production. And then, of course, a lot of these stories I'd heard before about it, but it's always amazing to hear. And just how it nearly could have gone in a different way. And boy, just out of interest to see how Richard Dreyfuss a version of it could have gone.
Consider that a divorce.
We need a sizzle reel of Richard Dreyfuss lines, man, from this movie. We need it, Gary. We need it.
Was that an AI
your
voice?
ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.
Yeah, maybe some of the lines would not have survived in that version.
Yeah.
Well.
I apologize.
So an interesting thing about you guys were saying you think that it was real and everything, like he really was a secret agent. Well, in the beginning of the movie, he does one of the technicians that's putting him to sleep, right before he goes to sleep, he says he's going through he's looking through what the program is, and he says, if it's real easy to miss, but he says, oh, that's interesting, blue sky on Mars.
Right.
And if you look at the screen that's flipping in front of the monitor that Doug is looking at while they're asking him all the questions about what he prefers in the game, the picture of the reactor comes up.
Right.
And this is before he was put into the dream. So
yeah, that is interesting, because then it's like, well, obviously Hauser would know about all that stuff, but then again, how would the program have it on it in the first place?
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, well, maybe it is a dream within a dream within a dream,
What if his reality was actually a dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. But that's why I said, there's a bit of Matrix in this. I really think that. And I think it's a fascinating. That's my favorite scene in the whole thing, where the guy is basically saying, I'm trying to help you here. you're deluded and you need to listen to me. And he doesn't. And then it unfolds with, fucking volcano erupting, a blue sky on. Come on. I don't know. I think he's fucked. But
well, remember the guy sweats and you see
Right.
the sweat.
Right.
Well, sure, but he's, Arnold's
He's got
like,
a gun to his head, dude.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a little extreme, but that is one of my favorite parts. Who just pops him right in the fucking face.
I know. And the look on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a picture of that on the.
And then they
Yeah,
show
yeah,
it.
yeah, you
They
did.
fucking
Well, and he kind
show
of
it,
jerks a
too,
little scare jerk, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, did you shoot me? Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Get in the
He's
chair,
sweat.
Quaid.
you sweat, you get shot.
yeah, exactly."
Those are the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the way he reacted wasn't quite real to me. So
Yeah.
the way that he didn't jerk, he didn't fall. He kind of looks at him. I don't know.
Well, that didn't work.
I have a feeling that
Well, look, his
I have a
options were you can stick with the hot Spanish chick, or you got to go back to working for Cohagen.
well, I guess maybe, yeah, maybe it's like Joey Pants in The Matrix. I know this steak is fake, but it tastes good, and I choose
Right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on the reality that he, is coming from, I bet they used 3 seashells. I think he made out quite well in the end.
Mhm.
A 3 seashell dream.
Yes.
Wait, wasn't he president in that one?
In
And
President?
Demolition Man, where they had the 3 seashells. Arnold Schwarzenegger played the president. At least that's what Sylvester Stallone's
Not in-
character says.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
He
that's
does
right.
mention
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
President Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
that's
only
right.
restaurant was Taco Bell.
Right.
Baron von
Almost
Wolfcastle in real life.
That's right.
No.
Well,
All right, Doug.
Anything else you wanted to say?
No, it's a great film. Forget all about the remake. It's just not worth the trouble. And its only real achievement was to get ripped off by Star Trek Discovery. So they stole the scene top to bottom from that movie. But that's all Star Trek Discovery ever did. So
Yeah.
it's you get crap stealing crap. It's still crap. So
That's right. No matter how many times you filter it and digest it, it comes out crap.
It all ends up in the end.
That's right.
And out the end, too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
that's all you can do is flush it.
That's right.
So we
Well,
should tell that model to Disney.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
a
they
great-
should learn to flush their shit instead of putting it on Disney Plus. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
Seriously. For
Maybe
God's
they're
sake.
just compartmentalizing the plumbing bill. That's what they're doing.
Maybe so. Tax deduction. Doug, I understand that you've got some comic books.
Yes.
That you make from time to time.
That's right. And by a staggering coincidence, Doomcock, they're named after the audio plays of the same name. Night Night. Oh, boy. If you head over to indieplanet.com and look up Night Night, you too can have Night Night comics just like Robert. Yeah, see, he's holding it. Look at that face. Oh, boy, don't you want to enjoy that kind of happiness? Well, you can when you head over to indieplanet.com and get your copies of Night Night. Yes, don't delay. Do it today. Now, you can also head over to the nelsonratings.locals.com for your other Nelson needs. And of course, the podcast, The Mr. Nelson Show, is available from radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcast. And you can spend some time with me.
Yeah.
All right. Close and intimate on locals.com.
Yeah.
Local.com.
Did you wonder where the personal ads on Craigslist went? Well, look no further. Locals.com. You can
Just
tell
change
you
that.
what MWF and all these and Mexican Iron Man can tell you what the abbreviation for the jumping out window is, but I digress.
We made it 2 hours and 45 minutes without We almost made it to the last. We were this close. In 10 minutes, we're doing super chats. How did we? Doomcock!
We missed you, man. We missed you. It just, you know.
Mike is
just
down.
felt like-
Mike is
That
down.
was the longest we've ever. I've been looking at the clock the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god, we're actually gonna make it one show. I'm looking at the clock,
Actually-
10:46.
He wasn't ready.
Actually, it was 1 week and 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Technically,
Well, take heart, Mike.
I bet if I go
every
back
time-
and watch the tape, there was a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, Total Recall is a great movie. I got to tell you, the image of the chick with the 3 boobies stuck with this young little boy for life, and yeah, like, look. I mean, I know it's mathematically and biologically impossible, but like, I'm not saying like for the little sci-fi little Mexican boy within me has been on a quest to find the 3 booby girl, like it, on this planet. None have surfaced thus far. The pacing of this movie is fantastic. The special effects are great. Here's the thing. I rewatched it 2 days ago, and I'm gonna say that I like the look and feel of the special effects for 2 reasons that I didn't catch, that I'm catching now, that never really surfaced before. Number one is that I think that what do you call it, the volume look that we're so used to now with the CGI, with the Unreal Engine. I don't believe that's real. Like when Gary just told me that the set is 100 by 200, whatever he said it was, that this movie holds up really well for me because it feels like you're there. Now we know it's props, we know it's a set, but it feels really, really granular, real. And the second thing is that guess what movie? Let's see if we go. Guess what movie from the 50s? It gave me that same warm vibe from. Anybody? Sci-fi movie
From the 50s?
Yeah.
Forbidden Planet?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Now, obviously, this is way more advanced than that, but just you go in and you see the scale, and you go below the planet's surface, and man, this movie holds up great. And I love the pacing of it, man. Like it just goes click, 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 click. There's not a wasted second in this movie. And that's how a lot of movies were in the 80s and 90s. Like the storytelling was sharp, and the script was sharp, and the direction was sharp, and they kept moving you along. So A++, go watch it. I own it. You should own it too.
Absolutely. And Doug, thank you for being here tonight, buddy. We appreciate you, and enjoy Agatha all along.
Oh boy, can't wait.
Yeah.
By the way, I would
All
remind Mike, take heart when people would mention the window thing, because every time I look at a window, I think of you.
Oh dear.
Come
Oh,
to my
dear.
window. Sorry.
Rabbit chicken punch.
Yeah.
We've had poor Doug review Willow with the lesbian theme, Acolyte with the lesbian theme, and we're gonna have him review Agatha with the lesbian theme. Can we go and find something by Axel Braun with a lesbian theme so we can give him a break?
Oh, that
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, yeah, Axel, where's your Axel Braun parodies of well, not Acolyte, that's okay, but Agatha maybe, I don't know, but all female cast.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be fun would be had by all. Thank you, Doug Nelson. God bless you, brother. We'll hopefully see you next week.
All right.
You
Have a
Doug.
good
Bye,
one.
Doug.
Later, Doug.
See you, Doug.
Bye.
Bye, Doug.
Have a good night, Doug.
Good night,
Thanks,
Doug.
brother.
Goodbye, Doug. Oh,
Let's go over to Osaka Chandal in the queue. Osaka Chandal, anything else to say about this movie?
Just like they need to stop trying to make remakes and let masterpieces or classic movies like this just be as they are. If you want new people to see it, just re-release it again in movie theaters. Like maybe clean it up like digitally, but leave it alone, because it stand the test of time that it stayed in all our memories from when we first saw it as a child, to have such a positive feedback from our memories in our childhood when we talk about good movies that we loved watching when we first saw it. So they need to leave movies like this one and Terminator. They need to leave them all alone. Just let them be.
Absolutely. I
Mhm.
think that's 110%. I mean, I'd much rather go, Jesus. I mean, these days they do re-release these movies in theaters and they clean up. They clean up over there,
Mhm.
Yeah, because like
I mean,
with all the practical effect that they do, like they make you look at it and you're like, it does. Like, yeah, we know it's fake now because we've been so sensitized from CGI. But at the time when we saw it, we're like, oh my God, how did they do that? Like how did they make their faces do that? How they make that giant head, mask was on a Schwarzenegger, like come out and stuff like that. Like you were just blown away as watching it. And you don't get that kind of feeling anymore with the newer movies that are just oversaturated and not as creatively done, or you can tell like the actors don't want to be there.
and neither does the audience, and frequently they're not.
Coincidentally.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, Osaka Chandal. We appreciate you very, very much. And hail to Rod Thunderheart in the chat. It's great to see you, Rod. JRC99US, are you a fan of this movie?
Oh yes, man, does that bring back lots of memories and stuff? But I had to have a question. Gary was saying that he saw this when he was 10,
Yeah,
and I believe it was rated R. So is there something you need to tell us, Gary?
dude. The first rated R movie I saw was Revenge of the Nerds when I was 6.
Okay, there we go. All right, just
So
making sure.
I hope that's all I need to tell you, buddy. I mean,
Yeah.
really, we've got bushes burned into my little 6-year-old mind. I mean, I had a big bowl of Captain Crunch. I'm sitting there, my dad's like, "Yeah, watch this movie, and I'll be back in 4 hours because he's going to work or something." And I was just like, "This is the fucking greatest summer ever, man."
Yeah.
So yeah, 10 years old.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was a good boy. I didn't see it until I was grown up, but but no, it's a great movie. I like to call it kind of. I dubbed it kind of like a creepy action thriller, meaning I love kind of the little creepy elements in it. Like, for example, you got Robert Picardo playing the Johnny Cab, and when Arnold like leaves the Johnny Cab and the Johnny Cab freaks out and goes and crashes and explodes, and then you see the melting fake Robert Picardo face going, "We hope you enjoyed the ride, haha," and then explodes. But I loved it for just the sheer action, and also like I said, I'm a good Star Trek fan, so we got Robert Picardo, who played the Doctor. We got Mark Lima, who played Gul Dukat. Now, I mean, talk about epic. You got Michael Ironside and Gul Dukat kind of squaring off, like with open those doors. It's like they're all connected, and just kind of almost a throwdown. Like, ooh, we would have had Gul Dukat and Michael Ironside fighting it out. And but no, I had I think one of the things that I always loved is reviewing movies that I saw back in the 90s and seeing, okay, what have we seen today compared to what we seen back then? Like, we have, we all have our phones now, and they still had like CRT video phone payphone booths, and just all the other tech. But I think what I really loved about it was the similarity of the opening sequence to almost like Terminator 2, kind of, the drums, the bam, bam, bam. And you're like, oh man, you're in for some fun tonight. So, for this movie. And it was exactly what you were expecting. You're looking for a lot of fun. You're looking for a lot of action. And not only that, I mean, honestly, a really good story. I mean, sometimes, action films may have a little cheesy storylines, but this one did not. It actually made you think, because at the very end, even though it kind of seemed to be saying that no, Arnold was like, he was reactivated from recall, or he was still having the dream. So it kind of like left it up in the air. So it kind of gave you a chance to think about, oh man, is he really back in reality, or is he still in the dream? So lots of fun, great movie. I did see it was 2012 they made the remake, correct?
somewhere
like
around
that.
there. I never saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. I have it, and I would have to say it was actually pretty good in the sense of that if it stood alone by itself. I don't know why they had to tag it as saying we're revamping Total Recall from 1990, because they could have easily made it like, oh, this is part of the Total Recall universe. And it would have been kind of cool if they would have done that, but it had nothing to do with the original Total Recall. None of the instant action, and a lot of times there was a lot of places where it drug out, like it just kind of was a little like yawn, yawn, snore, snore, and then it was like, oh, okay, here's some action, but it wasn't the cool action that we all know and love from the 90s.
Well, fair enough. I don't know. I don't really feel an urge to watch it, but it's nice to at least know kind of a little bit about it. Thanks, JRC99US. Let's see. Let's go to Tony Stark of Iron, and then we'll wrap up with Andy. Save the best for last. Tony, what do you got here for us? What do you think of this movie?
As far as movies about Mars go, let me tell you something, man. Wait, hey, get out, get out of here. Get it, wrong movie. No, man. This movie had such an impact in my life because, like Gary, I was very young when I watched it. I don't know the exact time or year because I'm not that level of genius level intellect to remember dates and stuff like that. But it helped mold my twisted sense of humor, like with Johnny Cab, when he's like, "I'm sorry, could you please repeat your destination?" He's like, just drive, yeah, and I'm just like laughing when nobody else was laughing, right? And so then, the scene when he's in the disguise and he takes the mask off and throws it. It's a decapitated head, but she goes, "Get ready for a surprise," and then it explodes. It's like, I was laughing when nobody was laughing. So it helped mold my twisted sense of humor. In fact, one of my first bits that I ever did, this is back at a local place near the college in the town that I live in. I took the Arnold grunting from The Martian Atmosphere and made it into a segment. It was like, Arnold versus The Martian Atmosphere. Right? Then Arnold eating. Arnold in bed.
TMI.
Then it just started, but it was also just really good sci-fi, really practical, in your face, bullets flying everywhere, great score, great set design. It's just back to back amazing. Thank you for letting me geek out about it a little bit, DC. I appreciate you. And this is Tony from Mars. Now to Andy.
All right, thanks, Tony. Andy Masterson, what do you think about this movie here?
I've never seen this. I mean, I got 5 kids to see. Oh man, this was a classic movie. This was the epitome of 80s escapism. I mean, what young, wholesome lad in America didn't dream of a combination of hookers with 3 boobs and midget hookers? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. It's just, you just, if there's a song about that, if dreams could come true, it could happen to you. But anyway, the action scenes in this, the special effects, I thought it was really cool because this was a space movie where you didn't have lasers, you had bullets. Seeing Arnold whoop the crap out of the construction workers, and his buddy there who was like the generic Burt Young from Rocky, who was like, you shouldn't have went to recall. I told you not to. And Sharon Stone. Oh my God. Wow. She was just stunningly evil. And when she says that part, you can tie me up. I'm like, yeah, that's, but then she ended up getting penetrated anyway. And that.
My favorite line of hers, Andy, is when she's like, That's for making me come to Mars. You know how much I hate this fucking planet. That is such a wife line.
Yeah.
That is such a wife line.
I love the line in there where Michael Ironside says to the other guy, like, what are you saying? She liked it? No, I'm sure she hated every minute of it. And he's just like, yeah, it was. I did find it a little unrealistic, like Michael Ironside giving Arnold such a run for his money with the fight in the elevator. But that was so great when the arms come off. And that was,
See you at the party, Richter.
the scene where he pulls out the thing and shoves that pipe thing through the guy's head. Oh man, that was so incredible watching this thing. And it's funny because when I would love to have been in the room when somebody pitched that idea that we're going to remake this, and nothing against Jessica Biel and what's the Irish dude's name?
Colin.
Yes, yeah. You're not topping Arnold at the peak of his game, where everybody. It's funny because you look at him, he's got the bad accent, he's got the delivery, but everybody would flock to watch his movies and suspend that disbelief just because he was so entertaining and did all the crazy things you wanted him to see. And the special effects on that, when that reactor goes off, and it's and of course it was totally realistic like that. If you had that much air filling up that kind of a vacuum that quickly, that would have been pretty rough. Your face just wouldn't went back to normal on the side of a mountain. And but it does beg the question though, because blondes or brunettes? Because Rachel Cotten is a beautiful woman, but Sharon Stone was just a little notch above that. I've heard her in interviews and she's a complete idiot, but wow, ball gag for a couple of hours, that would be just not topping that. So yeah, that had to be an interesting dilemma for Arnold. And I did use that line once ran into an ex-girlfriend of mine, and it was feeling a little snarky, and she said, so what have you been doing lately? And I said blondes and walked away.
Oh,
burn.
Ouch.
Great movie. I highly recommend it. I'm sure everyone has seen this, seen the original, seen it many times, and I highly recommend that it should be there should be a rule somewhere that you should watch this once a year, at least.
An excellent rule. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Hope everyone has enjoyed this discussion of movies we love. Let's go ahead and get to a few more of these super chats here, shall we? All right, folks, let's go ahead and read some of these here super chat thingies. Angry Yeti TV with a $2 super chat. Thank you, oh angry one, says, are there rings in Women of Power yet? Yeah, there are. And they look like cheap ass costume jewelry from the Spirit Superstore Halloween extravaganza. The bargain bin. They look like shit. Honest to God, the rings of power just look like, what the fuck are they? Terrible pieces of shit. And Maria with T and Telly. It's not your birthday yet, though, is it? But sending you birthday wishes just the same as we near your birthday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And Hero Hoagie with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Hero Hoagie. Says, hail all. I must say Gary Ambrosia losing his ish is always good for the program. Gary Ambrosia losing his ish?
I think it's when I laugh so hard that my eyeballs are about to burst out. That they like that. So
okay.
I'll be doing that more often, apparently.
I don't know what ish is, but hail to Hero Hoagie. And thank you for the very kind super chat, my friend. Appreciate it. Jason Cole is a new channel member. Hail to Jason Cole. 22 new channel members here tonight, folks.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Hail to you, Jason Cole, and thank you, sir. TLJ Screwjob with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. TLJ Screwjob says from USA Today, maybe all along Agatha was better left as a villain or a song. Even the woke media think this show is boring. Oh boy. Oh shit. I'm so glad I get to watch Agatha all along. God, what even, I don't even understand the fucking title, but okay, whatever. We'll watch this piece of shit, whatever. Oh God. Sometimes
Just think-
life kind of
I think
sucks.
someone's putting that on their resume somewhere. I pitched the
Agatha,
idea for Agatha.
from an old Jack Kirby comic book around, God, I'm thinking around 77 maybe, Fantastic Four 77, somewhere around there.
Well, the only consolation
anyway.
we can get is after they say that they pitched the idea for Agatha, then they're going to follow up with a, so what kind of coffee do you want?
I was a writer for
Oh,
Agatha all along. Will that be for here to go?
To go, please.
You want fries with that?
No,
Let's just change it to agony instead of Agatha. Agony.
it was agony all along.
Yeah.
Agony all along. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There you go.
I'm afraid that is the case.
Yeah.
Now, Jason Cole with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Jason says, I'm going to hurt my brain more by attempting Agatha. LOL. I'm morbidly curious. Enjoyed y'all's thoughts tonight. Well, Jason, we tried to help you. But I mean, we're not setting a good example. We're going to have to watch this fucking thing ourselves. And I wonder how many episodes we're going to have to wallow through at the start. Are they going to put out 2, 3? God, I hope not. God, I hope not. God, it was so fucking awful watching Rings of Power 3 episodes in a row. I mean, fuck me. You know? It's just like,
Well, like I said,
don't know.
agony. Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
Mm.
It's like a 4-leaf clover buried under a pile of shit. You know, you have to dig for it.
Rings deflowered.
Yeah. Brad E-Zone, or Brad Zone, with Brady Zone, perhaps, with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Brady Zone. Maybe it's that. Says, I would like to know Osaka John's doll's thoughts about Akira, the greatest anime ever made. What do you think about Akira, Osaka Chandal?
I think she had to step
Maybe
away
she's-
from it. But we'll have to.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not.
Well,
very-
we'll ask her when she gets back. Grand Potato with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Grand Potato. Says, I like the reboot Total Recall. It's not as good as the original, but I like what they did with the story. Well, that's what JRC 99 US was saying, right? That it wasn't so bad. It was in the same universe, but not necessarily.
Well, I was going to say I think it would have been wise if they would have made it in the universe instead of making it as a reshoot or a remake.
Yeah. So that's fair. Let's see. RVM 371 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, RVM 371. He says, one of the best exchanges in the movie. Are you saying that she enjoyed it? No, I'm sure she hated every minute. LMAO. Hail RVM 371. Yeah. No, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. And Osaka Chandal is back, so I'm going to go ahead and ask her the question again from Brady Zone with a $10 super chat. Says, I would like to know Osaka Chandal's thoughts about Akira, the greatest anime ever made. Do you agree with that, Osaka Chandal? Well, I thought she was back. I saw her moving around, but maybe I was.
Sorry, I
She's
forgot
back.
to unmute my mic. Sorry. Because I didn't want to interrupt the super chats.
Go ahead.
Actually, I really love the movie Akira. And it's just like, even I went to college, we had to study in art history and break down every scene of it, like it had a specific meaning and stuff. So it's really, really fascinating, like how deep it really was. But not only that, how it because of Akira, we have anime the way that it is now. It was so groundbreaking, and the fact that it dealt with a subject matter because it takes place after the events of like the bombing and stuff like that of World War II. It really like was a subject nobody wanted to talk about here in Japan. So when Akira came out, it just like opened up the world of possibilities for sci-fi. And yeah, so it really changed a lot of how animation was done at the time. One of the scenes in it that still makes me cringe, like I have to look away, is when the characters step on the broken glass and he has to pull it out of his foot. I'm like, ew, I can't look at it. I have to look away. But yeah, it sometimes if you go around I want to say around near Christmas, they usually have like this art exhibit that opens up in Tokyo that has all these humongous like artworks and murals and paintings based on Akira. And it's just like if you come to Japan around that time and you see it, it's really worth like while to see it because you can see so much of the detail that was just done in the artwork and in the animation. And it's just mind blowing.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I agree. I love Akira. I don't know as much about it as you do, but it was extremely impressive and remains so to this day. And also, I guess this is really a question for Andy, although it concerns Osaka Chandal. RVM 371, let's see, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. He says, Hail Doomcock. Question, my liege. Is Osaka Chandal getting her Doomcock action figure after all? She sounded so eager to get one, LOL. I would assume so. Andy, are you there? And do you have any feedback on this?
Well, that's a rhetorical question, of course. Just have to wait
There you
for
go.
your rivets to come in.
I really want one.
It's ironic that I have to order rivets from Thailand to get to New Jersey to send to Japan.
Our modern world, Andy. Our modern world. What are you going to do?
I would
All right.
totally take
Well,
the doll. I would totally take that doll and bring it to every single con that I go to in cosplay and like just post his travels around Japan.
oh, that would be
Nice.
awesome. Going around Japan, touring my mini me out there. Chaotic Charles, who has been a channel member of mine for 29 months now. Thank you, Chaotic Charles. Says, my lord, you described humanities regarding art value. Yes, sir. And I believe in that entirely. That's one of the reasons I fight so hard is because I kind of like our civilization. I think it's a pretty damn good one, frankly. And those who are detractors of it can kiss my ass. That's how I feel about it. Jack White with two $5 super chats and two $5 super chats and a $2 super chat in a row. Thank you very, very much, Jack White. Hail to you, my friend. And he says, question, my lord, did you get the email with the links to the anime figures I sent you? Yes, I did, Jack. Yes, I did. They're beautiful. And new series recommendation was Storia Wand and Sword. I have not... I've only heard that from you, Jack. I have not heard anything else regardless of that. But he also says, what I want with those witch super chats were that those were the type of women the witch trials started with. Then the trials ballooned out from there. What I meant, I mean, he says. Okay. Well, thank you for that that explanation, Jack. Yeah, it was a little confusing because, I know something about the history of persecution of witches, and a lot of it was just fucking madness, and evil in its own right. Orville Nation, hey PJ, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Orville Nation. Since we lost our dear friend and your follower, DC, Joe Simiana this week, creator of Australia's Most Haunted. Maria and I will be doing a service stream soon. Oh man, I don't know what it is. This is just so much bad news lately. So much bad news. I'm so sorry, Maria. I'm so sorry, PJ. I'm glad you're doing a memorial. I mean, you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we lost Bird of Prey 5. You know, we lost our friend Joe. And God, before that, you know, Clobbering Time, Mike Alonso, just on and on. It's just a terrible thing, you know. And we miss each and every one of them. Every time I do YouTube, I think about my buddy Cardinal Sin, you know, Admiral O.F. Doom, Mark C., Stephen Chire. Too many great people lost, folks, and we will never forget any of them. Thank you, Orville Nation, and God bless you, buddy. Phil Santiago with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Phil says, more Richard Dreyfuss impersonation by Gary A. Spot on as always. Great job enjoying the movies we love. Well, it really is top notch. Richard Dreyfuss, Gary's Richard Dreyfuss is more Richard Dreyfuss than Richard Dreyfuss, frankly.
All right, here's a free one. Here's Richard Dreyfuss doing an impression. Here's Richard Dreyfuss doing an impression of the Joker. Well, if you're good at something, you never do it for free.
Go ahead, ladies.
Well, it's very simple. We kill the Batman.
Go ahead, ladies. Throw money at Gary Ambrosia. Just no coins this time.
Yeah.
And just
Bills.
for me, do the
Bills.
do the line I like, and I don't
He
like the
doesn't take credit
panties
cards.
drying on the rod. That's one of my favorite lines.
Wait, which one?
And I don't like the panties drying on the
And
rod.
I don't like the panties drying on the rod.
There you go. Exactly. That's from the Goodbye Girl, one of my favorite Richard Dreyfuss.
I haven't seen that
movies.
movie.
Have you ever
forever.
seen that?
I
it's
saw it a
so
long time
good.
ago. I don't know the dialogue from it, but well, maybe I'll learn it. Just for you.
Him being forced to do the gay Richard III is just priceless. It's just so fucking funny.
One of my
remember-
favorite Dreyfuss movies is Moon Over Parador. I really like that movie. I think that movie's great. It's
God,
like his
I don't know if
version
I've
of.
ever seen that.
Oh man, it's like his version of The Prince and the Pauper.
Wow.
You know, like where he takes over the dictator of this South American country because he looks and acts just like him. It's really funny. It's really, really funny.
I should see
It's got
that.
him. It's got him and Raul Julia. It's very good.
I'll check that out, man. That sounds
Yeah.
pretty fucking great.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And let's see. Thank you, Phil Santiago. And Jack White with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says, DC and Mike, I just sent you guys a couple of emails with links to trailers for upcoming anime and games. Check them out when you get a chance. I saw that it came in, Jack White, and I will go and check that out after the show. But thank you, brother. Really appreciate your support and guiding us to all of these great anime projects and manga projects. Really great stuff. All right, folks. Well, it looks like at this point we are about ready to wrap the show. So let's go around and plug whatever we'd like to plug or say whatever we'd like to say, starting with Richard Dreyfuss, or AKA Gary Ambrosia.
Well, I'd
go
like to
ahead,
thank
Gary.
the audience tonight for watching the show. We know that you have a choice where you can be every Wednesday night, and for some strange reason, you decide to share it with us. And we're very, very grateful for that. And we hope that you come back next week when we're really pissed off about some other Hollywood piece of shit. So join us, please.
Thank you, Richard Dreyfuss, aka Gary Ambrosia, and Robert Wright. You have a channel of your own. Please tell us about it.
Yes, Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture, and this week I am celebrating the 40th anniversary of Transformers. So I've got season 1, my top 5 episodes already up today. So if you want to go check that out later on, and then season 2, my top 10 of season 2 will be out, and then I'll do my top 10 of season 3/season 4. So look for those videos. I'm also gonna be live on Saturday from 1:30 to 3:30 Central on my channel, talking about Transformers. And then Sunday's the big event that we have once a month. We're doing the top 40 songs from 1987. Tony Stark's on my panel, Heather L in the chat's on the panel, and Agent Pepsi 1's on the panel. we have a good time talking about the top 40 songs for those years. So check that out on my channel, Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. And then, guys, start your weekend off right here on Doomcock's channel. Friday Night Frolics, 7:30. We have a lot of fun. Doomcock sings some amazing songs like The Daughter of Harvey Cthulhu. And Harvey tells some beautiful jokes. And we have just a lot of fun in the chat. It's a great way to start your weekend. So come join us on Friday night, 7:30, right here on Doomcock's channel.
Thank you, Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture, ladies and gentlemen. And Mike, Mexican Iron Man, please plug DEI Latinx Consulting International.
Yes, for $500 an hour, we are happy to consult and collect reparations from everybody.
Except for me.
I am a poor Mexican man here on Hilton Head Island, living by the beach of the golf course, and it ain't cheap. Living by the boat, the bars at the boat dock, the drinks don't buy themselves. And the golf club dues. I just became a full member. Now Doomcock, I joined the golf club and I don't even know how to play, but that's why your reparation payments are so important. Help make a brown guy white by financing.
You take for golf lessons from Mexican Iron Man.
You think you care about diversity and inclusion? Well, let's get these golf dues paid, all right?
Here's some reparations for you, Mike. $2 billion I got right here.
Thanks for having me, DC. Love you. By the way, on a serious note, if you're not already a member, become a member. Doomcock's videos for members only are great. By the way, your video today was great, Doomcock. I forgot to
Thank
say
you,
that
brother.
earlier. No, they're great. They're great. And then if you want to jump on and talk to DC, he does these member streams where you can talk to him for 2 to 4 minutes and get your points across. It's great. It's great. I've been here for, I think, going on 5 years now. So you should.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate it because, the channel memberships are a great way to communicate with people, especially now that YouTube is strangling, views and circulation and unsubscribing people and pulling all their bullshit and shenanigans. So, thanks to all of my channel members and thanks for that plug, brother. Let's go to JRC99US. My friend, please plug anything you would like to plug or say anything you'd like to say.
Well, I'm truly honored and blessed and thankful for actually finally, first of all, for my internet to work this time. Sheesh. I just started off as just kind of like a independent YouTube content creator using good old Microsoft Movie Maker, and then it just evolved into something greater. But then one day after I was finding out that I was severely angered with New Trek, I was like going, I wonder if there's anybody else on YouTube who feels the same way as I do. And all of a sudden, this really cool guy who looks like he's from the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover with an awesome silver helmet came across my feed, and next thing you know, I'm like, okay, this guy is cool, but is this real? And it was, and I'm so thankful for it. But you guys can check me out on YouTube, just JRC99US. I also I spend a lot of time on X, and I just I'm just one of those guys that that I'm just, like I said, I'm humbled and honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me on.
It was great to have you, my friend, and hope you can join us again in the future, my friend. You stay safe, all right, brother?
Will do, brother.
We appreciate everything you do. Hoo-yah. That's damn right.
Yeah.
And let's see, Osaka Chandal, please go ahead and plug your channel or anything else you would like to plug.
Yeah, you can check out my channel. The link's down below. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's recently come by my channel and subscribed. I've just been so overwhelmed and extremely happy, and I want to really thank you, DVD, for giving me this opportunity, for allowing me to be a guest twice on your show. I've had such an amazing time, and I'm just so happy I got to meet all your guests here as well. It's just been so kind and loving, and it's just really, really fun to just forget about the stress of the real world for a moment and just to breathe and enjoy the nerd pop culture that we're all trying to save. And so, yeah, I want to thank everyone for that. You guys are just amazing.
Thank you, Osaka Chandal. We appreciate you being
You're
here
welcome.
very, very much. And Andy Masterson. Well, let's go to Tony. Tony Stark, go ahead and plug away, my friend.
Well, again, I not to repeat what Osaka Chandal said, but yes, thank you, DC, for bringing me on to talk about probably one of the cornerstones to my sense of humor, one of my biggest inspirations to get into science fiction. Thank you so much, brother. As far as plugs go, second verse, same as the first. My usual programming is my usual programming, but I am doing a Stark Relief Foundation fundraiser bonus matinee tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, 3 p.m. Central, for Stone Loki, who is fighting the Big C and needs our help. So I'm going to, be whistling the tunes and transcript readings and all that fun stuff. Crank calls, you name it, it's going to be on there for a good cause for Stone Loki. And you can check that out tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Everything else is just your usual same start channel, same start show. And thank you all again. Support Overlord
Well, thanks
DVD.
for that, man. Thank you. And I did not know that about Stone Loki, so that's a very sad news. I did not know that. God bless him, and let him know I was thinking about him, man. Thank you.
Will do. His GoFundMe will be pinned in my chat during that show for the duration, as well as any super chats that are sent. If nobody can donate any other way, I forward that to him. From
That's
that.
awesome.
So.
Well, thank you very much, Tony. God bless you, buddy.
God bless you, brother.
God bless Stone Loki, and I hope he'll get better. We'll pray for him over on Friday Night Frolics. Andy Masterson, go ahead and plug away.
Memberships. Make sure you get on the Doomcock memberships. You get great content, you get exclusive materials, and you can potentially be one of the proud owners of a Doomcock action figure like Osaka Tanda will be. You can do all kinds of action poses. You can get yourself,
including that one.
Stop pulling her hair.
You can do the Bat Juicy. You can do all that, all those great things, but nothing with a Ken doll. That is in the contract. Otherwise, the giant robots will come to your house and repossess the Doomcock action figure. You don't want that. This thing must be treated with respect. They're available to arch villains of 6 months or longer duration, and they come in two different varieties, one with actual metal buttons and one a little cheaper variety that comes with like the little vinyl ones, but the price is reflected because this thing takes a hell
And
of a lot
unlike Ken, folks, it is anatomically correct. So
Yes.
there will be extra charge for shipping as far as the weight,
Oh,
The Susan Sarandon is not included, by the way. Sorry.
Which is why Barbie is walking on her tiptoes because she's a little sore. So,
oh,
those were curls.
but seriously, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate you coming by. This is a great time for all of us. Props to Doomcock for establishing this incredible community and inviting all of us reprobates to come on back here. And the food is great in Xanadu.
Oh, well, thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Do you agree with that, Gary? Is the food great?
Spectacular. It's really, really good.
Hey, this is a Caribbean recipe.
Hey,
did you just blink an SOS?
I don't know. I'm going to rewind this fucker.
What? I had something in my eye. What?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh,
I'm not crying.
We'll talk about this later. Grand Potato, thank you for renewing your channel member at the Dominion level. We really, really appreciate it. And finally, Brady Zone has been a channel member for 7 months. Asks Osaka Chandal briefly, what about Ghost in the Shell? You like Ghost in the Shell, Osaka Chandal?
The manga and the anime, yes. The live action movie, no.
Yeah, I agree. I've not read the manga. I have seen the anime, and I also saw the movie. And although Scarlett Johansson at the start of the movie in that outfit, well, worth the price of admission, but the rest of it was garbage. So yeah, but oh my God, that outfit, jeez, oh,
Rare.
it's like fucking hell. I don't. Wow.
Rare.
God dang, she's something. All right. Well, anyway, thank you very much, Brady Zone or Brad E Zone. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but thank you, my friend. And thanks each and every one of you for coming here tonight. I hope that you will check us out next Wednesday. And of course, Friday Night Frolics. Come by Friday. This last time, Hank Hill had a song, a Led Zeppelin song that he did a special version of that kind of brought the house down. I'll probably do it again this Friday, so come by and check it out. All right, from the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and my panel of pop culture pundits bidding you all, my friends, oh yes, stay angry. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for coming.